Good Morbid. I can do it. Yeah. You start in a second. I was just doing like. Ooh. That's okay. Good morning. UMS Gnomes. What up? We got some heart eyes. We got a bunch of crazy emojis over there in the YouTube chat. Let me bring the music down just a touch here, obviously. Man, what a slow start to my brain. But I'm happy that I'm here. I'm happy that I'm doing it. It's I imagine I'm not the only one, but there's just like the idea of like, fuck it, don't do it, fuck it, skip today, don't do it. But I'm like, no, you gotta do it, dumbass. Come on. I think the number one problem is not taking my second dose of meds again. I think that's happened a bunch of times. But like, it's weird because it's like when it gets so late, I'm like, oh wait, you know, I'm not supposed to take Adderall before I go to sleep or some shit. But then it just fucks up my next stuff. Super bad. So like my brain is like behind my eyeballs is just like it's like there's like a it's like my brain is constipated, you know what I mean? Like it's like it's kind of nuts. Yeah, it's just something that people can use, like the emote unlock thing. I don't think I can. I think there's like a daily limit on it, but I can't undo that. It might be one of the built-in ones. Yay, it's easy. That was a good picture of her from way back when. Yeah, I'm talking about the Twitch emotes, obviously, because we have somebody who's just typing a bunch of stuff in the YouTube chat. It's hard to describe. It's just a bunch of vowels, GGs, and emotes. I don't know if it's a baby, a bot, or a real person. Also, who the hell finds... Is there a cat on the keyboard? I don't know who finds my stream naturally, so it's one of those like, huh? How could anybody find a 0 viewer live stream on the internet and then show up and be so enthusiastic? Ugh. So what happened yesterday for me? Well, I was able to go to my little DSA meeting, and they were talking about the big convention, which is a thing that happens. Yeah. They were talking about a thing that happens once every other year. It's like one at every 2 years they do this thing. It's kind of like, I don't know, like a mini Congress. All the different DSA chapters have different sizes. They come out and vote, and then they talked about how like there's different caucuses in the DSA National Convention, whatever it is, and there was like all these different like subgroups that all had like there's bread and roses, and then there's like one that's like a Spanish word for like a snail. There's like the Marxist unity, there's like the socialist majority, there's all these different like little sub-faction stuff, and it's like, oh, I did not understand this. But like, I guess to some degree it makes sense, because like some people think we should try to work inside of the Democratic Party and push it to the left. Some people think, fuck that, let's just start our own thing with blackjack and hookers, right? Like there's one of those things where it's just like, these guys suck, they hate us, let's just do our own thing. But other people are like, well, that doesn't really work that well. So you got to kind of like, so that the fact that there's different nuances on exactly their grand plan, and different people fit into different things. But like, as we were talking about in our meeting, was like, nobody here, almost nobody here in our local chapter has any caucus affiliation specifically, because we're all just, also because we're in Florida, so like the fact that we're socialists at all is like we're all allies. So it was eye-opening to understand that there's deeper layers to this, and there's like some people who are like, I learned about people who are pushing for the degrowth movement inside of DSA, which maybe I'm just ignorant, I don't quite understand it entirely. But I'm more of a we need more growth kind of guy. Degrowth sounded like it was we should stop using electricity other than the bare essentials kind of shit. And I'm like, nah, I think we need more electricity. I think we need like, obviously I don't want climate change to be bad, but I just look over at China and the amount of renewables that they build, and then the cities that they build, and then the infrastructure that they build, and I'm like, hell yeah. I mean, we definitely do have some nuclear, but nuclear takes a long time to build, from what I've been told. Honestly, I don't know what the right move is given the current climate, just because Biden and Trump have both put tariffs all over Chinese solar panels, whatever. So it's like, oh, neither one of our parties wants to go the traditional renewable routes. So do we just only leave nuclear, right? You can recycle the rods. We just don't, because human labor cost is cheaper. Yeah, I mean, that's what I think it comes down to. Even like a lot of our agricultural stuff, because in some degrees, in some areas of the country, automation, giant farm equipment is utilized, but in the South and shit, instead they just take the immigrant labor class and they just utilize them. Why buy multi-million-dollar machines to, you know, plow your fields or pick your berries? There's giant wheat threshing machines out there, corn hucking machines out there, but we need people to pick berries and oranges by hand or whatever. And it's like, oh, why? Well, how come you tell me they couldn't make a fucking machine that can do all those things, right? But they just like, why bother? That's how I see it. But then again, I'm not also an agricultural, I don't know, engineer or whatever. But I suspect that's a layer of it. So the places of the country that do not have access to the border and an influx of human labor that they can constantly use, abuse, throw away, and refill, they find automation ways of getting what they need. I know China doesn't really have a labor class, giant immigrant population of undocumented individuals like we do, and they can manage to keep their food well maintained and automated. I guess it's something I can look into to see. Different crops, different areas, obviously, as well. Whatever. So it's just really interesting to learn all these different things. And there's a bunch of different measures that they're trying to vote on. So it's like, you know, our chapter has like 5 out of 1,000 different people who get to add their vote. And even our 5 aren't necessarily voting as an entire block. And there's lots of little nuanced things, which are kind of like, it's good to talk about. It's good to be here. There's takes on it and how interesting it is. Like, oh, this is a measure to, you know, should we, as the DSA, create a language rule that says we do not talk about Israel, we talk about the Zionist state of occupied Palestine? Like, do we only ever refer to it illegally as that? Do we say, and instead of the IDF, we call it the IOF, you know, like, and then it's kind of like a bit of language policing, and something like, you know, should we make this a rule or should we not make this a rule? And some people are like, well, whatever. I don't think that's that important to focus on, or I think we should focus on that. Like, that's the kind of nitpicking that happens. And then there's other more, like, there's people who fight against the Green New Deal specifically because they're trying to go for some form of degrowth or some form of something similar but different. And it's just like, dang, that's a lot of talking about really, really nuanced things that ultimately, because like one of the caucuses wants to like destroy and remove the U.S. Constitution and get rid of the presidency and do these things, and I'm just like, wow, good luck. You know, like, I don't necessarily oppose it, but that's not like my, you know, my operating. That's not like my most important thing on my docket. You know what I mean? Like, obviously, I would like to reform and, you know, rebuild our Constitution from the ground up. I would like to change the balances of power that we build in our country, but I do not think that that's the first step. You know what I mean? That comes way later, unfortunately, just because it's like a bit of realisticness. But the more and more you talk about how realistic something is, the more and more you end up sounding like a corporate Democrat Nancy Pelosi, because she thinks that Medicare for all is not realistic. So that's where it's like, dang, this is a lot of stuff that kind of just makes you spin your wheels forever. So I'm glad that I'm not intensely involved in that, and I'd rather just work on like direct action shit, and not like direct action like on like a you know, food bank or a soup kitchen, but just like, oh look, we have a plan to do our municipal power. Oh look, we have a plan for this so-and-so's city council election. We have a plan for our own city-run grocery stores. Some of the things that we can do in our area directly, as well as stuff like this, where I can work outside of that particular organization and just try my best to find other ways of spreading the socialist message, just my support for Mamdani in general, my any videos I want to make. The other day in the shower, when I was getting ready to go to that meeting, I was thinking of a TikTok that might actually be kind of decent. So I think I might work on today. I'm debating if I want to still do like a full 4 hours, 5 hours, or if I want to like keep it to my normal end time. Also, while I'm just talking out loud, getting the day started, might want to move my streams a little bit later than 9 a.m. is the intended plan, just because I've clearly not been great at waking up at 9 a.m. It's probably because I have not quite fully transitioned myself away from the I'm an overnight guy. I do my stuff at 1 a.m. I would go to work, you know, through the overnight and come home at 9 a.m. or whatever. And also, when Kara gets off work or Kara does stuff, she kind of like naps in like the PM, the 6 p.m., 7 p.m. timeline, and kind of wakes up around 10 p.m. So I kind of like being awake at that period in time, but then I'm going to sleep around 1 or 2 a.m. and immediately getting up, getting ready, feeling like I've been able to do a workout, do some chores before the stream. Not really doable with that exact timing. So maybe I plan to stream from like 10 or 11 and go until 3 or 4 p.m. or whatever. Just thoughts. Well, thoughts aside, I definitely interrupted a few videos I saw, which I would be interesting, so we can just get into some cool stuff. Let me fix that old title. All right, let's see. This one was called Convenience is Destroying Culture from Design Theory. No idea what this channel is. Oftentimes I'll find just something, at least in my current era of doing this shit, I just find something that looks interesting on my YouTube homepage, and I'm interested in finding some new, because like obviously there's a lot of the ones that a lot of the other Hassan Orbit, Hassan Galaxy people like watching, which is fine, and I like watching that stuff. But sometimes people have already seen the stuff. I've already seen the stuff, but finding a new channel that does things in a different way would be interesting. Now this one, you know, hold on, maybe this one's a little, just thinking that, just worried that it's a bit too. Well, I'll get back to that one later, but I want to start with something a bit more for sure on topic. We'll do a Big Tug video. Big Tug is something that I have not seen other people watch so much of, just because you happen to be somebody on my YouTube short feed. So we'll do this one to start. Copy this, put it inside of the old React Bank. All right. Bam. Big Tug, why the concept of money sucks. I used to have like a YouTube thumbnail viewer, just so that way you can kind of recognize the thumbnail inside of like it used to be like a little pop-up thing.
It's great responsibility, and you have the power to sign up for. With great power comes great responsibility, and you have the power to sign up for extratug.com for exclusive perks and videos. Check it out. Am I still upside down, Chris? Please put me back up normal. My head's getting big. Money. Depending on the size of your bank account and how long you've been in the cycle of poverty, you either think money is the way to happiness or the way to evil skullduggery. Let's be honest with ourselves. People who say
definitely a normal dude, Big Tug, big normal. Not I don't mean normal as in a derogatory, like how people talk about how Asmongold is a normal guy, or Charlie during his, like, you know, different bad take moments is considered normie Jesus or whatever it is. I mean, like, he's more of a young normal person in the sense that, like, they're not politically motivated, they're not even given, they don't, their platform's not even politically charged. They make videos about, you know, the funny cute animals that make them feel like they want to destroy something because it's so cute. They make videos about how, you know, food is good or bad. Yeah, they're just completely normal stuff. But I've been noticing that the guy just sort of like has, again, the normal take that the system does not work for us and money sucks and like all these different things. And just like how everybody has leftism deep inside of them that they don't realize and they have to fight against the things that are pushing against it. I really like when he has videos on the topic that I'm like, oh, let's see what he thinks about these things.
Say money don't buy happiness are stupid idiots who are probably already rich and are just kind of being bitches about it. With more money comes more stuff that you like, right? Like if I had more money, I'd be eating more Rice Krispies because I could afford more Rice Krispies and that would make me in turn happier. And also, you don't got.
I wonder if he's going to talk about the thing that I love pulling up specifically, which is the money versus happiness, diminishing returns that you get. Now, this was taken in whatever year of 2015, inflation, et cetera, individual versus household income. But the idea is, as you as an individual person make money, you're happy. The reduction, is there like, the richer you get, the reduction in negative emotions. So how much negative emotions get reduced per dollar or whatever it is. So as you increase in dollars, you're reducing your negative emotions, aka you're removing sadness, removing pain, aka building your happiness. Wow, you get a lot in those first things. There's a bit of a plateau and a slump, and then once you start making over 150, 160, 200,000, depending upon, you know, inflation and stuff, but there's just like, the money no longer removes those negative emotions, those sadness feelings, those stressors in life, because you've already kind of solved a lot of the basic monetary problems, and now you just have like fulfillment and intellectual like stress and the hierarchy of needs. You've climbed all the way up, and now you're up to the self-actualization area. You're no longer down on like, I need food and shelter, right? So I wonder if he's going to go deep into that part of it.
Gotta worry about bills. And bills make me so nervous all the time. Every time I get a notification from my bank, I have a bill to pay, I want to cry a little bit. And if I just had money, it would be fine. But at the end of the day, regardless of your net worth, you need to understand that it all amounts to nothing, because money is fake. Money is not real. And it's kind of scary.
A thing I've heard a lot of people say, and I agree with to some degree, but also I've heard people fight against the idea specifically because it's not just, you know, print more money. It's not that bad because, you know, that has its own problems, and we do live in a society, and you have to be realistic about things or whatever. So, but colloquially, yes, we've made up money. We made up what every word means. We've made up the clothing that I'm wearing. We made everything up. It's all a thing that we decided to do together. We used to live in a society with no money for a long time. We just decided to utilize it. So our function and understanding of it is all up to us.
When you realize that, but none of this is real. And I can hear some of you now, Tucker, if money isn't real, how come I brought 5 quarters into a Burger King and bought a burger? That joke doesn't even work anymore, because you can't buy a burger for $1.25. It's all like $4 now, because money is fake. And that's where it gets complicated, because sure, money is fake, but we've all kind of agreed for it to be real in a fake way, so I can buy a house at one point with paper. Money gets its value from the fact that we all collectively with it. It's like a dog on a skateboard. Now, I'm not exactly sure this this is ethical, but gosh darn do I want it around at all times. But before any finance fellas come to my comment section telling me about why money's real or whatever, let me clarify what I'm saying here in this video. I understand that money is a representation of value. You work an hour, you get $15 if you're lucky, and that's kind of sad that an hour of your life is worth $15, but that's the intrinsic value of the dollar. But the problem is the value of the dollar is not tangibly related to anything in the real world. There was a time when money was tied to actual resources, shiny metals like silver and gold. Back in the day, if you had a bunch of paper money and you thought to yourself, I don't trust this thing we call the government, you could bring your paper money to someplace and they just give you gold for it because there was a gold standard.
Okay, he does like to go deep into the history, deeper than I think he would, deeper than I think about at times. So
in Wells Fargo with $30 in your pocket and walk out with a little gold nugget, and I think that's adorable. I also think it's adorable that people used to go to the bank. When was the last time you went to the bank? I could take a
dude, totally. My parents used to go to the bank all the fucking time. I have not had to go to a bank other than when I know it's a free ATM I can hit up if I'm like, oh shit, I need to go to the weed dispensary and I don't have cash on me. Oh, thank God there's a bank, my bank, near the dispensary I go to so I can just hit at the ATM. Ah, shit, for some reason my card's not working. Got to go inside the bank and say, yo, what the fuck? And then come back out and get it all figured out. Or my mobile deposit did not work. It just would not fucking work. So I had to go in person and say, what the fuck? Please deposit this. Thought Slime, I think I've heard of the channel before. But I don't know that I have. I think I have. I'm gonna pull. Is that the one with the little animation person? Let's see. Maybe not. I'll take a look.
Picture of a check on my phone, and the next day there's money in my account. There's no reason to go to the bank. But anyway, back to the gold standard real quick. America has so much gold that we built Fort Knox just to store all of it. And Fort Knox is crazy. It's a 109,000 acre military base that only exists to protect our gold. Literally, there are D&D campaigns that are based around things more real than this. The actual build.
I guess I was thinking of the little green animated person that looks like a human booger or whatever that's made a couple of funny videos that was like about like chairman or like Winnie the Pooh being sad and trying to do things, whatever. But yeah, that's different. And then like there's a lot of slime. Like slime is like a word that seems to be used a lot. There's literally the guy from the Ludwig podcast called Slime. There's slime YouTubers all over the place, and then there's lots of different slime stuff. But just looking at some of these thumbnails and stuff, talking about trans candy, how Gary Vee manipulates you. Some of these things seem to be similarly making fun of Mr. Burkham. So it seems like they are mostly aligned and they're talking about things. Oh yeah, Talo Oliveira, the biggest scumbag on YouTube. Okay.
Building where the precious metals are stored is called the United States Bullion Depository. That's weird. I thought bullion was them little cubes you put in soup, but I guess I'm not smart. Anyway, as you'd imagine, the depository is pretty much off limits to the public, and the security measures are insane. It's protected by layers upon layers of steel, concrete, and armed guards. It's like what James Bond was breaking into a lot of the time. And that old saying, you need to spend money to make money, really applies here because America spends $5 million a year just protecting its gold. Now, personally, I've always imagined Fort Knox to be a big empty
$5 million a year seems annoying, but one of those like it means nothing.
Room full of gold coins that Scrooge McDuck swims in. But it turns out not a lot of people can get in there. In fact, only one president in history has ever even been inside Fort Knox, and that was FDR. Yeah, Franklin Delano Roosevelt. I didn't say that right. Yeah, as I expected, he did not swan dive into the gold as I was hoping, so that's a bummer. But in 1971, Nixon banned foreign governments from exchanging US dollars for gold, effectively ending the gold standard. So if money isn't backed by a commodity, then what?
I've heard a lot of people talk about the Nixon thing, about getting away from the gold standard and going to modern monetary theory. And I've seen people say that it makes a lot of sense. And I've seen people say it sucks and it's bad. I've seen some leftists say that they want to go back to a gold standard or whatever. And I'm just like, that doesn't sound right to me. But I've trusted people that have said both things. So I'm just like, okay, now I need to like look into this more, which is sometimes frustrating when it's like, okay, all the people that seem that can follow abolish money, hell yeah. I mean, if we can get to that point, hell yeah, you know. Abolish work credits. Yeah. At one point, man, I thought about like, so like I was on one of those little plastic outdoor cheap patio kind of furniture thing, and we were just talking late into the night with a bunch of buddies, and he was trying to pitch me on the idea of a moneyless society, and I was still in my youth trying to be the most practical. Someone pitches me an idea, I'm a contrarian to whatever the idea is, just because I think it makes me interesting. But also, I truly did believe that you could not go moneyless, because I understood the world that there are limits. The idea was, if everybody in the world can just get whatever they wanted, you would run out of flat screen TVs, because that was when flat screen TVs were interesting. So wow, the 80-inch plasma, the 60-inch plasmas, whatever was around at the time, everybody wants it. They all couldn't go and get it. You would run out of them. I've understood more and more now that the world there's more abundance, not using the abundance Ezra Klein stuff, but there's more abundance of things. Food shortages are logistical issues more than food production issues. Power blackouts and things are more of an issue of, again, infrastructure and prioritization versus actual lack of producing power. There are a certain number of only so much ore in the earth, but there's so much more to this earth. There's so much more capacity to this earth. Yeah, that was another thing. It was like sustainable. That was the other, sorry, just complete tangent, but it reminded me of some of the real fucked up things. Cause like they were talking about how like society needs to become sustainable. Almost like population kind of shit, where it's like, no. We have not hit the sustainability of our planet at all. That is, we're nowhere near that. And some of that verbiage is kind of like kind of scary when I think about those languages points. Just because, what do you mean? How do you propose we remove human? Whoa. Yeah. I'm more open to the idea of a moneyless thing, but it's just obviously like, I can't get people to agree to just get healthcare paid for by the government. So like the fact that we could ever abolish work credits, I'll be long fucking dust. The worms that ate me will have also become dust. Like, I might as well become a fucking fossil fuel at that point, like somehow slowly turning into crude oil, or something, right? But hey, you know what? I get it, and I'm sympathetic and/or supportive.
Value is it representing? Nothing. Everyone say it together.
Yeah.
That's correct. Most modern money isn't backed by anything tangible. It's just our collective belief in the numbers in the database. This loosey-goosey system of cheddar is called fiat currency, and its value is derived solely from society's trust. And if that doesn't make you not sleep at night, I don't...
Society's trust, yeah. And a lot of it has also been turned into, or shared to me as like, the US dollar is good because you believe that the US will still be around, and as long as the US is still around, you can spend that dollar because we're still here, and you can use our hegemony and our military's might as an extension of the dollar that you are providing and selling. But a lot of it comes from the petrodollar, and about how we've sort of like pushed the world to use and whenever they want to buy crude oil or whatever it is, or oil, they need to convert their currency into the US dollar, which keeps our dollar relevant all over the planet. There are probably lots of details and nuances to how that works and why that is set up, but that is my layman understanding of how we keep our dollar as like the global power dollar. Even when the dollar loses value, it still has impacts that you could say are positive because of the way that it then impacts different values. So like when the dollar value goes down, then that means that other things also lose value, so they can't lose too much value, which like insulates us from too much loss. But then even when that loss happens, other markets are then behooved to try to help support it because they don't want it's definitely more complicated than I can understand, at least in my current YouTube watching definitions. But it's one of those things where it's like I can understand why people want to get away from it because it's about US global hegemony and using oil, right? Those are two things that like I definitely think that are like, one is outdated, aka, well, I guess they're both outdated, right? Because we should be finding new ways of getting power better than just oil and stuff. Even though it is the fastest or one of the more fast and just get it done kind of energy wet methods we have out there. But US is losing control, losing grip on the world, and oil should be losing grip on the world. So that means that we're kind of using this system for the sake of this system that eventually needs to fall apart, right? One either through time or through force. So what the fuck, we got to have a new plan ready.
I don't know what will, because our entire economy is based off of a trust fall. But it's actually even a little more terrifying than that. The key to a fiat currency isn't just trust in the money itself, it's trusting the hand behind the person issuing the money, aka Uncle Sam. And by this point in history, we have absolutely zero reason to trust the government. I've made so many videos breaking down just how the American government has been. They've spied on us. They've drugged us without our consent constantly. It's pretty wild to think that every financial transaction includes an implied thumbs up to the US government. And the US isn't alone in using a fiat currency. Almost 100% of every economy in the world does that too. And even more alarming is that 92% of this money, which is already backed by nothing, only exists in digital form. Even if paper money is useless, I can still hold a fat stack of bills up to my ear like I'm making a phone call and feel like I have something, instead of just a number on my phone. What the does that mean? To my brain, there's some inherent logic in physically having more, but now we have the already abstract idea of fiat currencies existing only theoretically on some digital database. We're just doing your banking app might as well be a high stakes calculator. That's all what's going on right now. It's just a number on a screen. We don't have money anymore, we have numbers, and that should terrify you. But there is a reason why governments went away from the gold standard and went to fiat currencies, and I hope I'm pronouncing that right. I hope it's not fiat or some shit like that. But fiat currencies have some logistical advantages that make them desirable for governments.
I do. I was looking at my extension thing. I do have the thing. So this is the thumbnail. Another side tangent. Open link in new tab. Some thumbnails are straight up just image, right? Some are words that don't match the title. Some are just the title that matches, the title is in the thumbnail and the title's in the title. But I do kind of think it's cool to see the success and the use of thumbnails in different ways, because I'm trying to eke my way into a little bit of stuff, even if I'm just a video editor for other people or something myself. Different methods, because everyone scrolls and it consumes differently, whether it be on a phone or it through, the TV app, or it be on the computer. So I don't think anybody knows the true right answer. Even a Mr. Beast style thing doesn't always know the perfect answer, just because they also have their own unique audience, and just because they're successful doesn't mean that they have the best thing. But this is one of the most simple ones, where the thumbnail is literally just, you kind of get the idea from the burning, the sad face, and money. And then the title of the video itself is why concept of money sucks. I don't know how often people are able to combine the reading of the title and seeing the thumbnail to make their decision about what to watch, but because this video doesn't have, 1 million views, it has only 100,000 or something, but also his channel is only so big because, well, he has 2 million subscribers, but his shorts are popping off, so that's probably why he gets so many subscribers.
They ease the physical demands of sourcing and protecting physical commodities, and most importantly, they allow governments to have control over manipulating their economies. Without the need to back your money by anything tangible, you can just print more money and no one really gives a shit Which leads us to that age-old question, if everyone's so poor, why don't we just print more money? And then the finance fellows in the comments are going to tell you why that's a pretty bad idea. Printing more money is a bad idea because it always leads to wild inflation. But since we're already balls deep into the abstract world of finance, it's not much of a stretch to view a government that decides to expend lending as one that's essentially flooding the economy with more imagination units. If used properly, a government's control over fiat currencies could theoretically help stabilize economies. That happens sometimes. It doesn't happen often. And of course, I'm oversimplifying it. There's tons of things that go into, making an economy work and not work. Like, for instance, wage stagnation, which is an entirely different video in itself, wage stagnation. But I do want to note that since 2001, the cost of a good quality of life has doubled, and we haven't gotten more money to get paid with. That means that 60% of American households don't have enough imagination units to
Yes, he's getting radicalized. Yeah. Hell, he might even be there, but he's hiding his power level or whatever.
have a good life. Over half of the country is giving power to the money printed by a government that won't raise the minimum wage or stand up to
minimum wages in dollars. Yeah, Florida was still on the path to getting up to $15 an hour. One of the weird things about Florida, man. Well, Florida man in general, but like California is at $16.50 and we're on our way to do 15. Just every year or so it gets a little bit more. But Florida is known as the most insane bonkers state or whatever. Who has the 1750? California, Washington's actually a little bit more. I don't see any higher. 1635. Oh, 1750 DC. Okay. You're in Washington? Hell yeah. Yeah, I mean, I've heard a lot of good things about the Pacific Northwest. Northwest Pacific. Got it. Yeah. It seems like, I wouldn't say it's like Florida because that's not fair to you guys, but we love it here. It's nice. Yeah, I mean, I like a rainy weather. I do live in Florida, so I'm used to tropical shit, but I've heard Seattle rainy, kind of a whatever. But also you're next to Canada, so I imagine things get snowy and cold as fuck. I'm not sure how the Pacific Ocean really impacts things. I don't think, especially that high up, you really get any crazy storms, whatever it is. You don't get too much snow. Interesting. I mean, does the Pacific water keep you warm? Is that kind of like how California, but like Northern California, probably, I don't know. I know that they have skiing stuff, but I assume it's like somewhere perhaps off the coastline or something. But anyway, there's like combinations of like the most like wild libertarian crazy conservatives, as well as the most, base anarchist communes, and then a little bit of the in-betweens. Mountains, do you imagine? Okay, well, I guess that makes sense. We have to worry about Mount Rainier blowing up its top and mudslides. Ooh, mudslides are kind of spooky. There's one of those things where it was like, where is a spot that doesn't, because like, uh-oh, Central, you got tornadoes, those are spooky. You got earthquakes in California, hurricanes in the south, like blizzards up in the, there's all these different things, and what's good and what's bad. Where do you avoid the most natural disasters? And then there was some article that was like, this weird town in, I think it was North Carolina or whatever it is supposed to be the safest from all the different, problems and even the global warming problems, and then boom, it got destroyed by some like remnant of a hurricane, and it just really decimated the town. Yeah, well, it's supposed to be some town that had like safety from it for whatever reason. There were articles about how it was the best, and then like X number of years later, it got one of the worst like natural disasters to happen to it, and people were dying due to the infrastructure not being good to prevent it. And climate change has pushed things to be more severe, to dive deeper into the inland areas, because like for example, Florida, well known for hurricanes, but Central Florida is one of the safest places for Floridians to retreat to. Like, we literally had to evacuate to Orlando because lots of hotels, which are built to be kind of like mini shelters, especially for emergency situations. They can hold lots of people and lots of rooms. But also, the more inland you are, the more the hurricane has to lose its momentum as it plows through areas. So Florida being designed for hurricane stuff, you being in a tall, strong structure in the central part. So it doesn't matter if it's a Atlantic or a Gulf one. And it will lose most of its stees before it gets all the way in to hit you. But so like places in North Carolina were probably used to expecting shit to get so weakened that it wouldn't be super bad. But then, oops, these are bad enough, and the conditions are getting worse everywhere, and problem. So long story short, there's no way to avoid nature everywhere you go. It's a gamble no matter what. There's always going to be something that could fuck with you. And unfortunately, we're not strong enough as a nation to talk about that realistically and work on it. So, shit. Damn. My understanding of the map is so fucked. Because, like, I'm like, damn, West Virginia is way the fuck up there. Like, that's kind of nuts to me that West Virginia is that high up. Like, that, like, even pieces of West Virginia end up being like higher than, was it Delaware? Yeah, certain parts or whatever. It's kind of nuts. And like how Illinois is so far down. If I close my eyes and try to picture this map, because like a lot of this stuff is easy, the big block ones, and a lot of this is kind of a mess because there are all these little things in there. I guess I'm just so used to just looking at this one section. The rest of it kind of gets this weird blobbish sort of like. Anyway.
Big business. We're just, I mean, sometimes I wonder if we should just go back to a time where you could pay for a slab of meat with teeth. Ancient cultures use some pretty wild things as money, though I kind of think their tangibility makes a lot more sense than modern currency. So here are just a few examples of ancient currency that makes just a little bit more sense than our current system. Number one, as early as 1200 BCE, cowrie shells were used as one of the first forms of money. Cowrie, it doesn't matter. This was the past. They had intrinsic value because they were decorative, durable, and difficult to forge.
I like that Homer one.
The past. They had intrinsic value.
Sick. That value is worth a little bit to me. The Winnie the Pooh character one, Skull and Crossbones. Carol will be into this. She loves shells.
Value because they were decorative, durable, and difficult to forge. Trading shells for a currency makes sense on a
forge as in make a fake, man. Your editor did you dirty by throwing out the forge in there.
deeply ingrained lizard brain level. You know what I'm saying? When you're a kid at the beach, finding a big shell is the bee's knees. It's the tits. The cooler the shell looks, the more valuable it feels. So I understand these cave people walking around being like, I like that shell. I'll give you meat for that shell. Honestly, I think we should go back to using shells as currency. Raise your hand if you're on the tug train on that one. On the Micronesian isle of Yap, massive limestone discs were used as money. The value of each stone was determined by its size, craftsmanship, and the story behind the stone. Kind of like how art is not worth anything unless the artist is dead or mentally ill. Something along those lines. For example, if someone died while transporting the stone would be immediately worth more money. I enjoy these type of stakes in currency. In a way, they level the playing field. Making $1 million because you sit in a room and tell people how to invest is boring. But if you steal a couple $100,000 from a bank and then get in a shootout with the cops, well, that's plain badass. The danger should make crime money worth more than the money that stockbrokers are getting in fees. You know what I'm saying? Money with a story. Every dollar bill should have a little thing on it that said, I sucked for this $5 bill. That should be worth 10. But of all the ancient currencies, my favorite is by far teeth. I love teeth as a currency, and it happens several
That's the Warhammer 40k currencies is teeth. T-E-E-F.
times. Indigenous cultures across the world have used animal teeth as money, and this makes so much sense to me. There is a finite amount of teeth in every animal's head, so the scarcity is already there. Plus, you can't just get animal teeth easily. You can't, walk up and pluck one out and run away. You have to fight an animal and win. And the teeth these people were using, it wasn't like rabbit teeth. It was like whale teeth, boar teeth, wolf teeth. That's putting some real skin in the game. And once again, that's what I think money should be about. It should be a competition, not a collection. Now, it makes sense that we used commodities for commerce before the concept of printed money, but even after the creation of coins and bills, weird alternative forms of currency thrived in modern societies. Of course, you still have the bartering systems that exist solely in the middle schools and prisons of our country, where
that's a good way to put it. That's a good way to put it.
Cigarettes are king in both scenarios, but the education system and prison industrial complex are both unruly, Lord of the Flies-esque nightmares. There are still plenty of examples of alternative currency that thrive within the confines of a polite society. For example, in the 1630s, Holland became obsessed with tulips for some reason. The flower had recently been introduced to the country and they were considered extremely exotic. As a result, they became a status symbol for the upper class. But tulips take years to grow, so the supply was limited and couldn't match the demand. This gave rise to a speculative market where people were buying tulips as currencies, as an investment. Soon, a single tulip bulb was worth $100,000. Things got so out of hand that a futures market was created for tulips so they could be traded before they even bloomed. Of course, this was all unsubstantiated and led to a market crash that made many Dutch traders broke without a buck. And I think it's interesting that this tulip market mirrors exactly what the Beanie Baby craze was.
Also used to talk about Bitcoin and other speculative assets in general.
America in the 90s. So that's crazy that tulips predated the Beanie. Is there a tulip Beanie Baby? Chris, put up a picture of that. But it wasn't just the Dutch who thought plants were money, because early American colonists were with money plants too. But instead of flowers, they used hemp. Like the weed plant? Hemp was an essential plant before the creation of the cotton gin. It was what we made most of our paper, clothing, and rope with. And because of its necessity, farmers in Virginia...
Okay. Anyone that's ever talked to a "we need to legalize it" guy, they are heavily historical on the value of hemp and how good it is, and how we should move back to it. And I mean, I worry that their information is skewed because they want to collect it and get other byproducts from it specifically, or whatever it is, or they're just like, you talk to a person who's all into terpenes, and it's like, okay, man. Like, I think you're a little overselling, over leveraging certain aspects of things. I would like a little bit more peer review on the complete benefits of hemp as a material, but so far sounds good. Seems useful, and it makes sense that there would be, because they're afraid of the drugs, they walk away from it, and also because the industries is ready to make cash on the other crops instead, they're going to minimize the benefits of it. So those things do track and make sense.
Maryland, and Pennsylvania were legally required to grow it. This coincided with a shortage of coins, which led farmers to use hemp to sell to pay off taxes and debts and like that. And if it wasn't for their witch burning and extreme Christianity, early colonists could probably be seen as our first hippies. They're already trading hemp for food and paying off debts. They might as well be in a Grateful Dead parking lot tossing around the sack. But as crazy as it sounds to trade tulips, hemp, cigarettes, or Beanie Babies as currency, it pales in comparison to the dipshittery that is cryptocurrency. You know that old saying, when all you have is a hammer, everything...
Yeah, when they say money is fake, they mean money is fake.
Everything just looks like a nail. That's pretty much what's happening with technology at this point. Tech bros are running wild. All they know is technology, and they use it in every possible scenario. And maybe this wouldn't be so bad if it were mitigated, but since they're the richest and most influential people on this planet, everyone listens to their bullshit. Because of course he's really smart. He's got $1 billion. You can't just get $1 billion because your parents were rich and you just landed in a couple good investments. That would be ridiculous to think that. In terms of dumbassery, cryptocurrency is a perfect example of rich people telling you the wrong thing. The idea is that by decentralizing money, we can avoid inflation or currency manipulation and not have to deal with the government or banks acting as a middleman.
Did I see a Sonic inflation image subliminally, or perhaps superliminally snuck into my YouTube video?
Cryptocurrency is a perfect example of rich people telling you the wrong thing. The idea is that by decentralizing money, we can avoid inflation or currency.
Ooh, I don't know. Was that? I mean, I am wearing a Bluetooth headset. Oh, there we go. Signed by the author. Beautiful. In case anybody wants to, I mean, I don't know how to read that. P20? Don't know. Inflation
or currency manipulation and not have to deal with the government or banks acting as a middleman. Which sounds great. It sounds fantastic on paper, or not paper, on a screen. But the reality is that this money is extremely volatile. It can gain and lose half its value in 1 month. Yeah, fiat currencies rely on our trust of governments, which is not ideal, but at least that's a well-entrenched concept with some staying power. Crypto relies on our trust in technology. And you know, we've seen those tech bubbles burst before. Chris, put up a screenshot of, like, I don't know, the .com crash. I don't know. So, you know, it just happens all the time. Things, we literally was a crash of NFTs a couple years ago. Why would you put your trust in this kind of thing? Without any real intrinsic value, crypto is basically driven by hype. Holes like Elon Musk will tweet about a meme coin and the price will shoot up for like an hour until everyone sells. Honestly, to me, as someone as an outsider and anyone else with a brain, it seems like a mid-level marketing scheme, aka an MLM, triangle, pyramid scheme.
Dude, this one clip is in like, without exaggeration, 20% of the videos we've watched.
Without any regulations or protections, scams, theft, and pump and dump schemes are incredibly common. Still, we've got tons of rich people telling us that this is the future of finance. But guess what? They're doing that for a reason. They need us to buy in. Because our trust in their bullshit is the only way to create value for this brand new imagination unit. Once again, another imagination unit. And how do they get us all on the train? Well, enlist some celebrities. Dumbasses love celebrities. Oh my God, you don't have an NFT? Matt
Damon's like, he was so close to like weaving through the world and like having interviews where he says based shit, having decent opinions. I forget the one where he was doing an interview and then the camera person's like, yeah, well, you know, some of those people, you know, the guy's like, yeah, well, maybe some of them fucking suck. What the hell are you talking about? It was like, I think it was about labor union, specifically about the writers or the actors strike. And then he fucked it all up by doing the fucking crypto.com ad.
As an NFT. We love Matt. Good hunting. You love Matt Damon. But with failed cryptocurrency exchanges and cratering NFT markets, these celebrities have been taken to court along with tech bros. 2 separate lawsuits in 2023 named a laundry list of A-listers as defendants, including, and this is a bummer list because there's a lot of people on this list I do respect, but Larry David, Tom Brady, Giselle, Steph Curry, Shaq, Kevin Hart, Gwyneth Paltrow, Madonna, Justin Bieber, Jimmy Fallon, Paris Hilton, Snoop Dogg, The Weeknd, and Post Malone. Austin, what are you doing? Because crypto is unregulated, it is a very risky investment. And there's nothing wrong with a risky investment, but you have to know it's risky.
The few that seem like, I would assume, so like Gwyneth Paltrow is like, okay, she's there to get the bag. She's, in my opinion, a well-known grifter, fucking shoving amethyst eggs up her pussy. Like, it's just whatever, right? Like, she's doing weird things. This candle smells like my vagina, which is kind of a banger on its own, but combined with all the other gloop bullshit, whatever it is, yeah, her shipping out garbage like that makes complete sense. Someone like Post Malone or even Justin Bieber, I'm like, they're just fucking dumbasses. Not that I'm like a #1 Bieber believer, but they don't know any of this shit, man. Like, also Justin Bieber had his praying for Israel right now kind of tweet. So, you know, again, he probably doesn't know anything about it. He just hears that it's a bad thing and says, okay, he would say the same thing about any natural disaster, any situation. But then again, you know, did he ever fucking put out a post about praying for Iran right now is getting bombed? I fucking, you know, probably didn't. So yeah, I assume most of them are fucking stupid. People that put too much faith in individual celebrities that do things. But we know when you zoom out, 330 million people, that's going to move the needle, and they should know that too, even if they are kind of dumb.
Risky going into it. You can't be told it's a done deal. However, fiat currencies are usually protected by the governments that issue them. In the US, it's the Federal Reserve that looks after consumers and investors. But do you know about the Federal Reserve? Can we talk about that real quick? What do you think the Federal Reserve is? Like me, you'd think it's a part of the government that makes the money go good, right? Well, apparently it's not that simple. Not even close. This is a very complicated
Uh-oh. Are we going to get a libertarian take? Dissolve the Fed. Hold on. Let's get rid of
it. So I'm going to try and put it in the dumbest terms I possibly can. So
But you end up with, like, you know, clips of Donald Trump being like, I can't control the Fed. I think they're stupid. They need to raise interest rates or lower interest rates. You know,
I can even understand it. The Federal Reserve is an entity that's structured like a corporation, but it operates independently within the government. And while it's self-funded and in charge of its own policy decisions, it still has to answer to Congress. So Congress keeps it accountable, but it's not part of the government. Sure, Sure, it doesn't make any sense. But, like, what else are we gonna do? We're too stupid to even understand the concept of it. How are we gonna fix this? At least the Federal Reserve can save us from financial disasters, right? The Federal Reserve was created in 1913. And, you know, the Great Depression hit 16 years later. In fact, some historians think that the Fed made the Great Depression even worse.
Hold on. Repeal the sales tax, tax the rich. This is what people were asking for back then. And now you have the rich saying, get rid of income tax and only have sales tax. That way it's fair for everybody. Because the rich know that they don't actually get hit by the sales tax that hard compared to what real income tax would be for them. So they want to bait people by saying, look, your income tax, you won't get that taken out of your paycheck anymore. All we'll do is just have insane sales tax and everything, and you have to buy everything you need to live. So that'll be great, right? You'll be so happy with that. Because they would be happy with that. And there's people pushing for it. They want to get rid of the IRS. They want to get rid of all those things. Everything is over-the-counter tax, happens instantaneously. And to some degree, having it all taken care of and nothing to think about later, there's some benefit to that for sure. But case in point, people were saying that these sales taxes are here to hurt the individuals, not and to insulate the wealthy. Even from back then.
And hit 16 years later. In fact, some historians think that the Fed made the Great Depression even worse. After the stock market crash of 1929, citizens made a panicked run to the bank and removed all of their money. The Fed went against its own policy of protecting failing banks and pretty much just said, tough titties, we don't know what's going on right now. And well, the banks failed, pretty miraculously. In 2002, the governor of the Fed, which is a real title. He's like the governor of a town, but it's the Federal Reserve. He even said, we did it, in reference to their role in exacerbating the Great Depression. But by the time the 2008 recession started hitting the scene, the Fed had learned a few lessons. After the housing market crashed, they jumped into action, bailing out banks and slashing rates while expanding access to credit. So see, they fixed it. They fixed the 2008 recession. I must have dreamt that. Oh wait, no, they didn't. But they probably played a role in enabling the housing bubble by keeping interest rates too low after the 2001 recession. Damn, is it just me or has there been a lot of recessions in my lifetime? A lot of Gen Z millennial recessions. Things are bad. Things have been bad. In the 112-year existence of the Federal Reserve, there have been somewhere along the lines of 20 recessions. I guess them are good numbers? I don't know. Sounds like a lot to me. Although it does beat the alternative that we had before the creation of the Federal Reserve, which is just hoping that the richest man on earth, JP Morgan, would bail out the banks if something went wrong. So I guess that would be Elon Musk in this scenario, or Jeff Bezos, and I don't think he gives a Now, as vital as money is to us poors, it really doesn't mean that much to the rich people. We all understand that, right? I mean, of course you can't be rich without a ton of imagination units, but it seems like the more money you have, the less of it you actually need to use. Part of that is because rich people get a ton of free stuff. If someone has a large fan base or a social circle full of elites, their association with your brand or product could attract more customers to turn it into a status symbol. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. They get trips, cars, vacations, all because they themselves is a brand that can promote another product. Even something as simple as the swag bag you get at like the Oscars is worth $200,000. I can't imagine, like, just imagine, like, I say I get cast in a movie even though I don't act, and like I get like three lines, and then I get invited to go to the Academy Awards, and I would sell that bag so quickly. $200,000. I don't need any of that shit. But besides all the rich things people get for free, but they're also experts into leaning into the conceptual nature of money. The imagination units bullshit I've been talking about, they're really good at realizing that. Unfortunately, this isn't something that the average person can do, but for the ultra-rich, the very idea of money takes an entirely different shape. Just look at how they avoid paying taxes. It's not like they're like, just not doing it. There's no problem technically with what they're doing. In 2007 and 2011, Jeff Bezos...
Let's see. The Sun, a rag, but... whatever. Red carpet ready. Oscar nominees. Hold on. Let me turn this. Oh, thank you. $2 million swag bag revealed includes 16,000 Maldives trip, $20,000 plastic surgery, and $1 million in fire relief. Stars spoiled. Oscars. Jesus, what a fucking. That's a. That's a lot of shit. What the fuck? That's not a sweat. Wait, this has got to be like a gift shop or something. The massive swag bag is valued at over $2 million. Dude, that's like a car full of stuff. 2025 Oscar nominees, including Chalamet, blah, 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 blah. Due to the show taking place less than 2 months after Southern California was ravaged by things, nominees were provided with membership to this thing, offering $1 million worth of personalized disaster recovery support to families affected by fire. Personalized disaster recovery support. So, like, they're donating in your name. So it's like, look, Timothy Chalamet helped you rebuild your chimney after your house burned down. Wow. Wait, these are just weird articles? What the heck? I wanted to know the shit that's inside of it. Whatever. Garbage articles online.
Those paid exactly $0 in federal income tax, and Elon Musk did the same thing in 2018. And this is something somehow that only the mega rich can afford to.
And that's the other side. Sorry to completely keep stopping and pausing. So, like, years where the rich and powerful are able to skirt away and not pay income tax, which is one of those things where it's like, why are they so miffed about doing income tax stuff and trying to get rid of the income tax when they are so good at avoiding it? But even when, because it's not every year they can pay zero, but it's, you know, more than it ever should be. And also they resist any methods to prevent them from doing this. So, like, oh, look, you're abusing credits, you are abusing your losses, you're recycling things back in ways that it's unintentional, that kind of shit. So, but it muddies the waters for sure.
Musk did the same thing in 2018. And this is something somehow that only the mega rich can afford to do. It's a financial sleight of hand trick that involves all of your financial assets being like put into stocks and property. But when you take into account offshore banking, borrowing against assets, stock buybacks, and tax loopholes, it becomes incredibly easy to see how at a level of extreme wealth, money is nothing but a concept to these people. Sure, it's a concept also to the bottom 99%, but we still have to use it, even if it is imagination units. For multimillionaires and billionaires, the abstract nature of currency is a very tangible concept that can...
Like, the idea of debt to the 99% is, oh God, I have debt. This is bad. I'm bad for having it. I would be good if I could remove all of my debt. This debt is weighing against me. This debt is hurting me. It makes sense. Credit card debt is bad. Medical debt is bad. I mean, mortgage debt is bad. All these different things, all these debts, car debt, all these different debts. But to the rich, debt is just like any other form of income, basically. They leverage their debt. They refinance their debt. They utilize, like they factored their debt versus other things. They use debt to then give them tax breaks on the things that they do get. It's all... like, the money they get is not from income, but from buy, borrow, die, trading the value of their stocks to a bank for some lump sum of cash, which is like a loan, which is debt, that is their income. And they're working with the ever increasing stock market as the true income. So they resist any method of trying to tax their assets or tax their evaluation. They only want it to be taxed on the individual things that they buy or whatever instead of their constant accumulation of power.
Easily be manipulated and easily explained. You see, high net worth individuals leverage opaque tax regimes to obfuscate tax liability via shell companies and trusts. They unlock asset-backed credit by borrowing against appreciated equities that won't trigger taxable sales.
That is, so equities is, you know, ownership of a thing. So they're trading the valuation of their equity and getting cash value for it, which counts as a debt, which is not taxable, right? Like that's kind of what he's going extra hard to make it seem as confusing as possible because they're assholes.
Directly increases their net worth by reducing share float and allows strategic reinvestment that compounds wealth while generating no taxable income. In essence, they're controlling capital without ever having a need to spend it. So that all made sense, right? I don't have to say that again. It was really hard for me to say in the first place. In conclusion, money is a figment of all of our imaginations. It's a collective delusion where high-stakes math determines the quality of our lives. If we all stop playing along, perhaps we could go back to a better system that's a little bit more merit-based. I think we just go back to using human teeth. You only get 32 of them. If you need more, you go get more. But you're basically born with the same amount as everyone else. Level playing field. And some people are born with like 81 teeth. Chris, put up a picture of that. It's a f***ed up disease, but like, you know, that person's gonna be rich from birth.
You know, you need it more than me, dog, right? Kara could never. Okay, yeah, born without adult teeth in some places. This person born with, you know, next level adult. They have like transcendent, you know, they have child, adult, and then God teeth. Yeah.
It might be.
I was thinking because orcs, they're like sharks. They regrow their teeth. So there's a universal basic income built into the orc society, the 40k orc, that they can always get bare minimum teeth no matter what. They can gain teeth through conquest and work, labor. But teeth also don't last forever. So you can't really hoard it so much is a part of like the pitch. Obviously, there's the bad moons. Obviously, there's the bad moons who are flush with teeth. You know, yeah. So that kind of like goes against. It kind of rails against that idea. But whatever, it's a fun game. It's just a goofy thing where they have Cockney accents and, you know, use their brain to control things because they believe in it, even though that'll piss the hell out of some super lore knowers to say that's not true.
People will be looking for that genetic disability. And it would make you think twice before purchase. Like, is that can of Coke worth one of my teeth? Maybe not, probably not. And once again, you could kill
Dude, that can of Coke will ruin your teeth.
someone to take their teeth. But I'm starting to see a flaw in this plan already. I guess no matter what you do, the money is the root of all evil.
All of a sudden, UFC fighters, the most caked up rich people out there, they win every fight, knock all your teeth out. Hell, even during the fight, they lose a tooth. They go, whatever, that's nice, I'll keep it.
So, new videos every Saturday and every other Wednesday. Like, comment, and subscribe. Actually do all of those things. And speaking of money, $4 a month? That's definitely worth it. Extra Tug's worth a tooth. New videos every week. You get an extra one where they talk about dirty things. I'm doing lube this week, I think. And then, you know, a bunch of other cool stuff. You get your name at the end of the video. You
hey,
get
yo.
me. Things have been tough recently, you know? Things have been great. Once again, this is on loan at Rent-A-Center, and they keep making calls, and I'm ignoring them. So,
bro, those are all $4 a month, dogs? Oh my god, dude. What the fuck? They're flying by.
I'll talk to you guys later. I'm getting
Holy
nervous.
shit. Yo. Whoa. How many of you are there? You copy and paste. I don't fucking believe you. Holy fuck, Tug. Dude, you don't need any extra tugs. He's tugged out. Oh my god. That's wild. Oh yeah, and then because I'm a no fun haver, I pulled up that article I was talking about on the side screen. They came to Asheville looking for climate haven. They came for Hurricane Helene. Wow, I can read. They settled on Ashenville, a place that was more climate friendly, she says. It had mild summers in Austin, less drought, wildfire risk, blah, 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 blah. And then the big, crazy, you know, thing that happened and destroyed a bunch of stuff. And there's no outrunning climate change, you know. So that's what I was thinking of when I was saying that from before. Okay. Next on the docket. This is the same person that we had before that Happy Goat had a lot of smoke for, but I'm willing to give them another shot, and then we can try out the complete wild card one we've never seen before. I just did the wrong thing. Okay, do the react, manually unpin, because I take longer than 30 minutes. Unfortunately, I take longer than 30 minutes. Oh my god, I always do this avatar image. Maybe if I start from the front, it'll be better. Okay. Are we creating a generation of bullies? Gen Alpha, a future of narcissism. This person, I believe, I don't know enough about this person, but I assume this person is like based on a like a teacher background or whatever it is. So let's see. And this is the thumbnail specifically. Gen Alpha, a future of narcissism. Influencers, pushovers. Like, you got lots of text on this screen. No social lives. Pushover parents. That would be my generation, I believe, for pushover parents. Gen Alpha influencers is kind of a scary thing. But also, that would be a small percentage of the people. Just going off of analysis of the thumbnail. Because, like, even in maybe, like, but I guess, like, a lot of them want to be influencers, but literally me wanting to be a person. But I'm less of an influencer like, look, I have products, give me free money. I'm like, look, let's think about socialism, right? Like, that's kind of my goal. And then also, like, I can get paid to sit and talk about things and chill and have a good time with people. But in the video title, we're creating a generation of self-absorbed bullies. So, like, a lot of text that goes along and kind of matches this. Sometimes I'm used to seeing the text in the thumbnail almost being like part 1, and then the title is like a subtext part 2. But these are kind of like similar, but just different A/B testing, if you will.
Influencers, of course, we are obsessed with skincare.
Things that I hate, people like, okay, I don't know.
Is that Gen Alpha? That's Gen Z. Come on.
Not sounding so self-absorbed, but when people get views off of me.
What is going on with Gen Alpha students and their poor behavior at school?
They don't care.
We're Gen Alpha influencers. You're 4.
Gotta keep those wrinkles away.
We've been asked before our thoughts on discipline.
Okay, that is Gen Alpha. This is Gen Alpha, the kids, but like the adults in the video before, well, whatever. Yeah. And as I get older, I got to get used to Gen Alpha also getting older, right? That's a part of it. Also, like, that kid saying, gotta get the wrinkles away. That's completely trained by her parents to do that shit. That is Honey Boo Boo. Fucking, what is it? Pageant mom shit. That's.
I don't know what is discipline.
They do.
Also, a parent that can watch a kid have a tantrum and then record their kid while they're doing it. That's just a dog shit parent. Just that the parent has an iPhone now.
Not care about authority. It's wild.
Perhaps we need to have a serious conversation pretty soon about whether or not it is healthy for young people to be plugged into the internet the moment that they are able.
I think it's going to be equally interesting and heartbreaking to see like the psychological effects that we see later down the road of using social media at this age for Gen Alpha.
We all love making fun of young people. It's almost like a rite of passage when a new generation is.
Hell no, yeah. What an insane thing to say. Started off like, we love snubbing our noses down at those. I mean, I guess like you can see that there's a historical trend of society to do that, but like, no, what? You don't know, dude. Maybe I was such a contrarian. I grew up being like, don't be the person that says, get these damn kids off my lawn, right? So much that I manifested it my entire life to the point where I'm like, I look at the kids and I go, no, it's my generation's fault for enabling these individuals to be this way and to give them, no structure and security in their life. Like, I don't see it as like a haha, these damn kids, I hope she means it as like society says it, because what the fuck?
Labeled to separate ourselves from them by putting them on a lower pedestal than ours. We pat ourselves on the back and congratulate ourselves for being better children than the current lazy, entitled, and self-serving youth. While we now have research showing that for the most part this isn't true, and that the kids these days mindset comes from our own memory bias of our childhoods, there is still growing concern for the newest generation. Gen Alpha, with their unique struggles specific to being born between 2010 and 2025, may be causing permanent damage.
So 2010, being born in 2010 means that they were at most 15. So I guess some of those kids in that thing could have been 15, and then with the blurred face, I'm just assuming that they are older than they are, or whatever it is. So, sure.
to their development. Between growing up chronically online and surpassing the level of coddling that the participation ribbon generation was raised with, Gen Alpha is now facing a label of their own. A label
more
that
air
may be
quotes on that, but
forever
sure.
imprinted on them as the most narcissistic generation yet. I went into this video hesitant to make such claims because, for one, I don't love labeling large groups of people, let alone the group of people.
I went into this hesitant. Sounds like she's willing to do it now, which I guess prior to watching the video, I am not willing to do.
That my own children are in, but the more I've researched, the more concern I've grown for these kids.
But also, I worry the research comes from those same things that she was lambasting, which is, oh, this is a year ago too. This is kind of crazy. Didn't realize it was that old. Just the thumbnail caught my eye, just because we had similar conversations before, and I was curious to see where we go. So like she was willing to say that they're wrong to say kids these days, and whatever. But then there's articles saying kids these days, and she's like, I've read so many articles.
So let's dive into it and try and decode the symptoms of growing up Gen Alpha. Have you guys been keeping up with Gen Alpha influencers? It is both terrifying and fascinating.
No, I have not. These are babies. Why the fuck would I be keeping up with that? Are you fucking kidding me? What? Why would I ever spend I'm literally spending more now than I ever have my entire life keeping up with Gen Alpha influencers.
Hey guys, it's Johnny with a G.
Dude, the evil is right there. It's in the frame, right? It's there. The kid can't even fucking articulate the words they're trying to say. They're just reading a script. There was that one clip of the fucking Costco guys doing a recording with some, famous person. And it got leaked or uploaded accidentally, unedited or something like that. And it was them just doing a few retakes. And they were so mad at the Costco dad for wanting the kid to get it right or whatever it was. There is 700 times more of those outtakes that are properly deleted and way more aggro energy with that fucking, pageant mom. It's just pageant moms that don't go to pageants anymore. They just do it online. It's just pageant moms, inside and out, 1,000%.
Sign up me for school. Next up, my glow recipe for
bullshit. This is like fucking at 9 p.m. It ain't gonna get ready for school. Fuck you.
serum.
To the mom, not to the kid.
So, I got this new moisturizer from Glow Recipe because
we're getting so many views, our child. What's a view? We're getting so many. It's good. Okay, I'm happy that you're happy because when you yell at me, I don't like it, but I'm happy you're happy.
They love me. It's been a rough day, guys. Of course, I need to moisturize my face.
It's just... And then I guess there's a whole pile of people that then rage against it for obvious reasons. So it gets the engagement. It's a fact. It's a story as old as time.
So this is from...
It's like this looks more than 14 to me, but I guess the athleisure wear, I assume is like somebody in their 20s or 30s or whatever. But
Scott, I don't have any earrings in. This is from Lululemon. Before
ooh, okay, the voice does sound a little young, whatever. But yeah,
I get more comments from people being like, "That's not a real Lululemon jacket. You can't afford Lululemon." Which, first of all, why do you care? Okay. Second of all, this is Lululemon. I just took the hair tie out.
If you're wondering how this happened, it of course all started with the iPad kids. In 2010, when the iPad came out, parents were quick to adopt it as their new parenting hack. A 2011 study found that 39% of 2 to 4-year-olds have direct access to digital media.
So, not the majority, first off. Some parents did have direct access to digital media just after iPad's inception. Okay, now it's higher. Now, percentage of children under 8 that were using digital media increased. So using digital media means that they just had access to it at all, not that it's their go-to form of parenting, right? I watched the TV doesn't mean the TV raised me. Come on.
Yeah, just a year after the...
Ashley Hager and Hissam Bensendat, Seattle Spectator. Pacific Northwest, it's your fault. You've done this. what is this Seattle Spectator? Sounds like a fucking just wannabe New York Times kind of garbage, right?
iPad's inception. In 2011 to 2013, the percentage of children under 8 that were using digital media increased from 38% to 72%.
It's just people have access to digital media now. So, like, does your child ever watch a digital file? I suppose. There you go. Increase.
And as kids grew up and grew out of iPads,
But they use that information to then reinforce their heavily charged article title.
they needed the next upgrade, which was, of course, the smartphone. A 2019 review of NPR found that over half of children have a smartphone by the age of 11.
Well, that's also because they are cheap. I mean, like a smartphone can be the simple bullshit Samsung Galaxy ass hair that they make for the track phone that is a touchscreen. It is Android. It is whatever. But also, people can use, like, their kid has the phone. They can always call for help. They can call you directly. You can text them to keep in touch with them. You can literally have tracking apps on them, so that way you know where your kid is based off of where their phone is. You can also, all kinds of reasons to, like, I was given a phone when I was first going on a bus to a job downtown. They wanted me to have ability to call if I needed to. And then the mass adoption, how cheap it is, and how popular it is one of those things that we don't want your kid to feel bad. It's another Seattle Spectator. I wonder if she's in the Seattle area specifically.
These smartphones, of course, came with all the bells and whistles that you get from your iPad, with the constant entertainment, but with the convenience of being able to bring it everywhere. And kids have been getting smartphones earlier and earlier every year since they came out. Some kids are getting smartphones as early as age 5, and I know of some schools struggling with cell phone issues in the classroom as early as grade 3. And with this access to smartphones, children are using video sharing apps like TikTok and YouTube at even earlier ages. These kids are spending much more time on technology than any other generation at the same age. They found that 65% of those ages 8 to 10 are spending up to 4.
The Seattle Spectator is a student newspaper at Seattle University. No disrespect to the newspaper at the university, but I would never cite a student newspaper as a source for anything, as a serious thing. Like, I was at the University of South Florida. I would not put the fucking Bull News or whatever the fuck it's called. I forget what it's called. The Oracle was the name of the paper. I would not cite that as my hard facts on fucking anything. What the hell?
4 hours a day on social media.
I don't know what's in the water right now, but all of the educators I know are experiencing this collective shift around.
This lady loves to post. This creator loves to post wine mom teacher TikToks as supporting evidence for her claims and things.
On one particular issue, it's phones. The levels of addiction range from mild to, this is not an exaggeration, students who are on their phones scrolling every class the entire hour, the entire school day. Whatever's happening in the classroom, if you are on your phone, that's more interesting than whatever we're doing. So even if you're kind of in and out, no, your phone is what's dominating your mind.
I mean, banning phone use during class time makes total sense to me. Wi-Fi password not shared, airplane mode at the very least. If not, put your phones here when you're a fucking child, right? Do not disturb with rules for your parents' texts to come through, egads, your dad's in the hospital, we're coming to get you, or whatever. Also, you wouldn't text your fucking child, that layer. You would just come to the school and get them during that horrible moment. So I could see a reason to have teachers collect them and monitor important do not disturb incoming messages in case the kid really needed to be alerted to something specific. So, but like, yeah, I can't imagine any of my teachers allowing students to just have a fucking Game Boy that they're just scrolling on, or a phone that they're scrolling on, or a magazine they're flipping through during class. It would be the same thing, right? Where is this? I mean, honestly, where is this happening? And why are the teachers so mad about it, but then allowing it? Are they told by the principal, you're not allowed to, forbid them from using their phones in class? They have to have it, what?
But I think what's worse for me is the social element. Like, it is so weird and disturbing.
I have vivid memories, and I use this a lot because when I was in the classes, no matter what grade level, basically, people would come into the class, like the custodian would come in with a ladder to replace a fluorescent bulb in a light. And me and every other kid was just like, wow, watching him get up the ladder, go into his tool belt, to grab a weird little tool to help him like remove the covering and putting it on the floor, and then removing the old bulb, watching how he twists it, putting the bulb back on the ground, climbing back up with a new bulb, putting it in. Okay. And then and then putting the cover back on, and then grabbing their stuff and leaving, because that was more interesting than the bullshit that was in the classroom. It was a distraction. And I guess as an undiagnosed ADHD person was just like, wow, something new. Squeezing my fucking dopamine, producers. This is something different. Thank God. Right. So social aspect, it's always going to, my natural contrarian and also natural anti-wine mom style stuff is coming out hard. I'll let them get through their points, because for the previous video we watched from this creator, they would show this stuff and let them say their thing, but then come back later and go, maybe it's not that bad, to a lot of it. And remember, Happy Goat was like ready to like burn this creator to the ground for even entertaining the idea, but then it would walk it back. But that's also one of those things where like you would not have a long uncritically analyzed speech by a neo-Nazi and then go, yeah, but also maybe not. You wouldn't put it like that. You'd be like, you would set it up as, this is a freak, here's what the freak is trying to say to some degree, and then go back after and say, look how wrong and gross they are. You wouldn't just state them as two different sides to an equal battle.
To just see kids not like talking to their friends. Like, I'm like, I want you guys to talk to each other. Like, goof around, be kids. Like, I almost want them to like act up in the
come on, kids, play doctor. Come on, show them your penis. Come on.
Traditional ways where they're just like, haha, talking, joking, passing notes. Time to do something. What are we gonna do?
Despite the minimum,
Kids love to joke and talk around as their mom is standing over them, cracking the whip. They love it. That's the most like socially active time, is when that's happening.
age for using these platforms being 13. We know many children under 13 are on these.
We know anyone 13 and older can create an account. What is this?
Apps. And that's how we've gotten the Gen Alpha influencer, because while there is a minimum age of 13, there is no regulation preventing children from downloading and using these apps.
Dude, it's with parental permission. The mom was right there in frame the whole fucking time, right? There was no thought that it was the kid's entirely own account, because the kid would not want to do any of that shit. Straight up. It's the mom pumping it into her brain. You've got to, you're not presenting it in that lens at all. You're presenting it as it's a natural problem of the young mind that's being manipulated by social media, evil thing.
Apps. And not to mention that these companies don't want to keep children off their platforms because,
oh my God, just the wide angle lens distortion, the layer of the bronzed Republican makeup, the So like the distortion of the lens, and then how and my point of view that this person is doing irreparable harm to their young formative minds. I see them. Yeah, I know. Those eyebrows are on point. They are like, she spends more time on her eyebrows than loving her children. You know what I mean?
The earlier the children join, the more likely they are to build those scrolling habits that they'll take with them into adulthood.
Case in point, this is a family that has money for teeth care, eyebrow care, a thing I never even... I mean, hey, it's good to care about your appearance and to make sure that you're presented and to, you know, whatever. Self-care is important. That's all well and good. But this is a family that is super far down the money doesn't matter to them anymore. They're trying to find new ways to have self-purpose. The hierarchy of needs, they have met all their material needs, and now they are spinning on this. But then they will go online and tell you that Mamdani is actually scary and they should do abundance deregulation. You know, this is the family that we're looking at here. You know what I mean? As they poison their innocent children, and then they'll say that, you know, J.K. Rowling is right, and the trans agenda is damaging to the young mind or something.
And in my opinion, the worst offense of them all, which is preventing anyone from shutting down these Gen Alpha influencers, is that a lot of these kids have parent-run accounts, which allows them to get around the rules.
Unfortunately, YouTube chat is technically not allowed to be on my Twitch thing, so my streams go to YouTube. Also, it's a great way for me to just have all my shit saved permanently, because YouTube will save all the lives in a big live section. So I kind of just use it for that for the most part. Hopefully, there'll be some changes to the terms of service for Twitch to allow the multi-chat to kind of like be chill. And not that my account would actually be banned if I actually allowed it to show up, but yeah.
I just don't understand why parents would think that this is a good idea, a good thing to do for your kids.
I think it's about time someone said it. I think that parents who have entire TikTok accounts and Instagram accounts where the entirety of the content is them filming their like babies and toddlers need to stop, because like what the actual am I watching? You're telling me as a parent, especially the ones who like their entire life is this family TikTok account, you're telling me one of the main sources of income in your house is videos of your baby? I feel like a lot of them don't really have much say in the matter. They're so small and they're just doing what their parents are telling them to.
Well, they definitely have no say.
I could make a whole video on the negative repercussions of having children on social media, but today we're talking specifically about the narcissistic repercussions. The reason
I feel like that's avoiding the topic specifically. There's, I guess that you could, so the damage that the parents are doing by being a pageant mom, but the digital version online, and then saying, but now these Gen Alpha people are narcissistic and that's bad. I think it's missing the forest for the trees, or whatever it is, where it's like, no. Like, there's a lot of bad things. And then saying it's Gen Alpha being narcissistic, finger wag. The real problem is the millennial parent behind it. You know what I mean? The pointed as a Gen Alpha problem is like, it's a millennial problem, or just whatever those parents are specifically.
The reason children should be kept off social media is because prepubescent and pubescent kids are the most vulnerable at this age. During this time, their brains are still malleable, and the neuron pathways that they make during these years will stick with them for the rest of their life. Children are, of course, very...
The plasticity of the brain, there was a thing I saw about how, like, we talk about how the young mind is more plastic for language, and that's not as true as we always assumed it was, and other things. So assuming that, oh look, they're raised this way, now they're fucked forever, may not be as doomer or as open and shut as they position it to
very
be.
Impressionable. That is how they figure out what path they want to take and who they want to be. And with that, they often copy whoever they see to be the most accomplished or having the highest status. Older Gen Alphas are forming their habits now, and these habits have impacts on children's aspirations.
Here we go. Let's see. Aging and brain plasticity. For a long time, it has been assumed that brain plasticity peaks at a young age and then gradually decreases as you get older. This is also underscored by expression that one cannot teach an old dog new tricks, implying that people who have become used to doing things in a particular way will not easily abandon their habits and change their behavior. Interestingly, thanks to tremendous advances in medical imaging and techniques and assessment of brain structure and function, mounting evidence for lifelong brain plasticity has been generated over the past years. Practice leads to improvement and refinement in performance on motor or any other tasks. This dynamic behavioral process associated with altered brain activity occurring in similar manner in young and older adults. In context, practice-induced task learning, key question is how brain plasticity can be optimized. Even more important consideration for older adults. Using this thing, you explore the neurochemical basis of the CI effect via determination of practice-induced. I mean, like, obviously, a lot of fucking science, whatever it is, but don't use that excuse that old dog, new tricks, or whatever. You can change.
One survey found that today's children are 3 times more likely to aspire to be a YouTuber than an astronaut. This is
not in a vacuum. We don't give a fuck about our science and astronauts anymore. They are seen as heroes as an afterthought. You might have an image of like superheroes, real heroes, and have like a policeman up front and then a firefighter and then an astronaut. And then like, that's it. And then maybe a scientist. You know what I mean? Like they are pushed way down low. Our advancements have been stunted at best. Like, we haven't gone back to the moon. We have never made it to Mars. I mean, the International Space Station is like on its final years before it gets fucking crashed into the Earth. We don't make a big deal about astronauts anymore. So a child growing up barely even talks or thinks about astronauts, and they say YouTubers. So of course they want monkey see, monkey do. You know, when a firefighter was the biggest, coolest dude around, kids wanted to grow up to be a firefighter, right? It makes just a lot of fucking sense. Also, this is the Lego Group. What the fuck? This is the Lego Group specifically trying to sell their Lego products. Why would you use this as a source? Oh my God. I wonder how often this person thinks an idea in their head and then looks for an article that just says what they're thinking.
This is, of course, because they're primarily seeing influencers being the most accomplished.
That's marketing script. To push on parents like this, and like, oh, I should buy my kid astronaut fucking themed Legos, so that way they care about something that I used to care about. What the fuck?
Society, and so that's what they want to be as well. During the time of life when kids are finding their own identities, Gen Alpha influencers are hijacking their attention and retraining them to aspire for their version of success. Since succeeding on social media requires primarily
hijacking their attention. I don't think kids give a shit about a girl going, oh, gotta work those wrinkles as a baby. Kids don't give a fuck about that. It's you that sees that and goes, egads, oh my God. You are the one that's rage baited into seeing that. The views that those videos are getting are not children views. Children views are watching things like Cocomelon and things that they want to watch. They're not watching that shit with the fucking, pageant mom in the background. What?
Especially when these children are too young to have any life experience that would allow them to offer anything of value. These children will continue to turn inwards to try and reach the same level of success that these Gen Alpha influencer role models have reached. And so these young people focus obsessively on themselves and their public image. And even if you don't want to be an influencer, you're still dealing with the increased social comparison from being on these apps, which increases your self-focus as well. Now, if you are a well-balanced person who has the capability to compartmentalize all these effects from social media, then you can get away with minimal negative repercussions. The problem is really only adults
babies,
can do
yeah.
that, not even all of them, because your brain is fully formed. Children's brains are just too sensitive to prevent these negative repercussions, that this obsession with the self can make you prone to narcissism. Research shows that higher amounts of social media use predict higher levels of grandiose narcissism. This includes time spent on social media, frequency of posts or tweets, number.
Higher amounts of social media use predict higher levels of grandiose narcissism. This includes time spent on social media, frequent posts or tweets, number of friends, followers have often participated in post pictures themselves on social media. Newport Institute. Are apps creating narcissists? A higher amount of social media use predicts higher levels of grandiose narcissism. Don't even know if that's specifically saying that it's creating more, but it's predicting whether somebody has grandiose narcissism. So a grandiose narcissist might be a person who would use an app a lot, but I suppose they're trying to say that you have to compare it to Newport Institute. Sounds like a fucking cigarette magazine. Pretty sure. Okay, let's see. Hold on. Let's see. Let's back it up and see what they're trying to say.
This includes time spent on social media, frequency of posts or tweets, number of friends/followers, and how often participants post pictures of themselves on social media. As well, in a 2018.
Yeah, I mean, a person who posts pictures of themselves a lot would be more likely to be a narcissist. But these babies aren't posting pictures of themselves. Their mother is posting pictures of them and forcing them to do these fucking things because kids just want to play with their toys. Or at least watch videos. They don't want to fucking make, you know, oh my God.
Study, researchers tracked 74 participants aged 18 to 34 over 4 months and quantified their narcissistic traits. They found that participants who posted large quantities of photos and selfies showed a 25% increase in narcissism.
Same article. Tracked 74 participants, age 18 to 34, so adults, over 4 months, and qualified 4-month study, qualified their narcissistic traits. They found that participants who posted large so a 25% increase in narcissism over 4 months. A percent increases in narcissism versus the control group that did not post photo. I'm confused what this is trying to. They tracked 74 participants and quantified their narcissistic traits. So they tracked the traits of these accounts for 4 months, and they found that the traits that they were trying to track match the ones that posted the most pictures. It's not saying that the pictures, that the ones that posted more pictures became more narcissistic over a 4-month period. What?
It's a cyclical issue too, where the more you're online, the more prone you are to narcissism, and the more your narcissism grows, the more likely you are to be chronically online. One study found that young adults with grandiose or vulnerable
It's the same fucking thing. Young adults with grandiose or vulnerable narcissism were at higher risk of TikTok addiction. I never heard of vulnerable narcissism before.
Narcissism were at higher risks of TikTok addiction. If we don't cut out these Gen Alpha influencers, whether that's through government agencies shutting down the content or parents taking control of their children's access online, we will continue to see children's brains being warped to see success in narcissism. This portion of today's video is sponsored by YouLike. Did you know that you can have 90% of your leg hair permanently removed in just—
Oh, sick. Leg hair removal. Fucking sick.
The use of smartphones and the overall internet by Gen Alpha expands to more than just the consumption of Gen Alpha influencers. Between video games, messaging apps, streaming platforms, and more, children are growing up with their eyes glued to a screen. A survey from Pew Research showed that in the smartphone and social media era, nearly half of the nation's teens say they are online almost constantly. Specifically, they found that
In the smartphone and social media era, nearly half of the nation's teens say they are online a lot. I mean, the ones that grew up during COVID and could only interact with people online, half of them say they're online all the time. Yeah, no shit.
that overall screen use among teens and tweens increased by 17% from 2019 to 2021, growing more rapidly than the 4 years prior. On average, daily screen use went up among tweens, ages 8 to 12, to 5 hours and 33 minutes from 4 hours and 44 minutes, and to 8 hours.
Went up among tweens to 5 hours and 30 minutes. New York Times, classic. Using social media more as ever.
And 39 minutes from 7 hours and 22.
5 hours, 33 minutes, 4 hours and 44 minutes. So it's like an extra hour. And 8 hours in this to, from 7 hours. Yeah.
2 minutes for teens ages 13 to 18. Now, there have been arguments that say that this increase in screen usage isn't all bad because it can be used for educational reasons like schoolwork or for messaging platforms that of course connect people together. The problem that is rarely brought up,
This lady's a parenting mom, like a parenting influencer and creator. I didn't think they're a teacher. I don't know, man. They're kind of I'm getting frustrated. To some extent, it's important to watch through frustrating shit and talk about it and learn new things or whatever, and or fight against some shit. But god damn, a person who is a parenting influencer tackling this from a Gen Alpha are fucked because phone exists, instead of pointing it at moms like me are doing this shit to their kids. Is frustrating, to say the least. It's frustrating. I came about it, and then, I was just like, I need to look up to see if she has like a Twitter or something and see where this is coming from. And she has like a website where she sells stuff and talks about her mom content, has a podcast, and then her Instagram's all about her and her momhood or whatever it is. And I'm just like, okay, I thought you were like an educator who's interested in finding fucking ways to balance the new world around us, whatever it is. But it's not that. It's not that. It's not that. Oh yeah, this was like someone from the DSA about like how to use the Zoran movement or whatever it is. That was an article. I haven't actually fully read through whatever it is. Okay, time to reduce my blood pressure and go do something different. The thing that we were going to start the day with, but I wanted to go a little bit more insano mode to start, which, my fault, I guess. All right. Convenience is destroying culture from Design Theory. Now, is this something that's going to make me rage and lose my mind? Or is it something that's going to be good? Let's see. I don't know. I've always been mildly interested in different design topics, just because Kara's a graphic designer and is always kind of like trying to find cool, inspiring forms of stuff to get her pumped to make her own content, because I wanted to have a partner and make content with her. I wanted her to make like a graphic design YouTube channel, whatever it was. But I'm curious to see what this one is. Whenever there's like, I feel like so much content out there is like meant to look what's going on with the Zionists in Florida. It would be, usually it would be, what do you call it? The evangelical Zionists specifically, because of that's what Florida's got going on. there's a lot of religious mega churches. I used to live by like 2 different ones, and drive up to my high school, and there was an even bigger one. It would always blow my mind looking at our dog shit ass fucking schools, and then looking across the street and seeing a goddamn mega church get built in no time with just insane amounts of money, I guess, pouring into it. And, in a location that's not necessarily the most well-to-do, watching it collect what little wealth that is in the area, it does the Reddit atheist thing where you go fucking crazy. But that's a whole different discussion, obviously. Are you familiar with, are you referencing something that I'm not aware of? Like if there's a bunch of like particular protests, whatever it is? You can't stand it. These things make you weak, your argument. Those things also help disabled folks live their lives. Absolutely true. And where's the line? Should we stop using calculators because that's making our minds weak? What about chairs? Shouldn't we squat for better health? Yeah, and then that's what I was also getting at is like there's always this like negative connotation to content or just to the message overall of like, actually, you shouldn't like phone. Actually, you shouldn't like app. Actually, you shouldn't let your kids do the things that you want to do. You should, all these different things that always have like a negative connotation specifically built around them because that's what drives interest. It drives the most emotions. Except it's like a haven for Israelis in Florida, and Palm Beach was human trafficking central for Epstein, and governors and senators are all staunch Zionists, all just from evangelicals. So Florida being a haven for Israelis, I feel like I'm not aware of any particular amount of, it wouldn't surprise me, but I'm not familiar with like a certain number of Israelis fleeing to Florida from Israel. I guess like, if they're trying to, I thought Israel put up things saying that they weren't allowed to leave because they didn't want the population to, they want Israel to have this bloated population. And when people leave, it makes it seem like less of a point to even having it all together. But I'm not familiar with people leaving Israel for Florida other than just like, I guess, if they were people who left from the New Jersey, New York area to go to Israel, but they may have already had like a home or something. And then Palm Beach is trafficking for Epstein. That's kind of just like technically not associated with that in any way other than rich people, right? I mean, in Mar-a-Lago, and the governors and senators are staunch Zionists. I mean, literally almost all of American politicians are staunch Zionists. So there's like a handful of those that fight against it. But I mean, that's been the modus operandi and the default for all politicians because it's both parties do that shit. Even that Israeli that shot at other Israeli because they thought they were Palestinian happened in Florida. That's true. I remember hearing about that one. Similar climate was a thought, but that seemed insufficient. Similar climate, I mean, just Florida is just the rich people haven to run away from the snow and also from certain types of like there's no state taxes, whatever it is. So like that's why Mar-a-Lago is in Florida. Retirement homes. That's like the old school thing about like how it's the geriatric place for everyone to come to retire because it was cheaper to be here. And it was warm. Because like California has good weather, has actually better weather than Florida because Florida's hot and fucking annoying and sweaty. But just wondering if I had insights. Yeah, I mean, Florida is a weird place for a lot of reasons. Florida is also like the Tampa Bay area has like a huge like basis of Scientology, just because government regulations and tax havens is a good reason for it to be here. So Zionists and Scientologists don't necessarily have an overlap, but they just have a mutual happiness around that type of system setup, right? It's just one of those things that can just kind of happen. Maybe there is more to it, but me as some guy who just went to public school and did whatever, I have not been exposed to it. But there could be a whole thing, right? There could be a whole layer that I am just blind to because I only see what I see. Okay. So yeah, this was also the thumbnail which we saw from before. A little what is it? Severance thing. Good idea to use the Severance image to like draw in, because it was framed by a full design team and cinematographer, and it's an awesome shot that is evocative of a lot of things, but then also to use that to like get you to go, oh, I recognize that, and then a somewhat interesting title and theme, and then to bring you in. So I was not familiar with this channel's game. I'm curious to see what they've got.
Mess of gears and levers is the Gestetner duplicator,
Wait,
an early photocopy.
Where's the captions? Where's the captions?
This complicated mess of
I
gears and levers is the Gestetner duplicator, an early photocopier. But in 1929, designer Raymond Loewy did something.
Oof. Okay. Immediately, the audio sounds muted and muffled, which I'm worried about. Let's see.
That changed everything. He covered all that complex machinery in a sleek, elegant shell. That one
old video, my tabs, that's a rebuffer, sorry.
One simple move quietly rewired our expectations forever. Design stopped being about helping you understand and instead became about making sure you didn't have to. And that idea spread because the less you think, the easier it is to sell you something. The world has been redesigned for convenience and seamlessness. The more effortless a product becomes, the easier it is for companies to shape our behavior, and the harder it is to notice what we've lost. Today, you tap a few icons and food appears at your door. You watch shows designed to hold your attention, but not actually move you. Even dating is flattened into bullet points and dopamine loops that leave everyone
confused where they're coming from and going to. It is more of a zoomed out view of design, specifically. But
everyone feeling more disconnected. It's not that people stopped being curious. It's that systems now channel that curiosity into safe, profitable behaviors. So how did we get here? And how did design, something that was supposed to empower us, become a tool for flattening the human experience? Sometimes the answer is right in front of you, like how your headphones connect. You flip open the case, and before they're even in your ears, they're already.
Oh, is this a what is it? Not Ray-Bans, Raycon ads.
Synced. Music starts playing exactly where you left off. No buttons, no thought, just a magnetic click and
just a no thought. Designed to numb. It'd be better if the headphones needed to like dial in and connect and plug.
Boom, you're locked in. The interaction is so seamless, it's practically invisible, and that's exactly the point. Because when something becomes that easy, it stops feeling like a choice. You're not deciding to listen to music. You're just reacting to an impulsive flicker of boredom, a pause in conversation, or a moment of discomfort. And suddenly you're halfway into a podcast episode. The original designers behind convenient design weren't trying to manipulate us, but as our world became more overwhelming and complicated, designers just wanted to simplify life.
They live stuff.
Loewy made objects look clean and streamlined, but Dieter Rams went even further with that idea. He wanted products to disappear. He believed that design should be so intuitive and user-friendly that you barely even notice it's there.
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah. Okay. You think he's trying to destroy culture and erase your brain by making things like a good soundtrack in a movie makes you feel the emotions of the movie without realizing you're listening to the music? Yeah.
But over time, things shifted.
Like that's not about like you becoming an obey thing. It's about also funny that I'm talking about audio being seamless because this guy's audio is like noise canceled to hell and back. I have had soundtracks, or not, I've had audio tracks that I've had to try to like repair to this degree. And also this editing is high tier. He must be paying an editor to do all this stuff, because I can't imagine a person who cannot set up a microphone properly would have this tier level of like crumpled paper effects and, you know, all these different layers of editing and the little punch and zooms. They would not have that skill if they are doing all that.
Companies realized it's difficult to increase someone's desire to want to do something. It's far better to make it effortless by removing as many barriers as possible. It's about creating an impulsive, conditioned response.
I don't think making things simpler and easier, like the idea of like it's more difficult to cancel or unsubscribe from the email is through steps and layers, is to make it so that way you don't do it. Because there's a funneling effect where you only the last layer actually will do it. Making it easier to turn your phone on or whatever is not so much about like trying to make it a Pavlovian response or whatever it is.
Removing even the tiniest obstacles in an interaction helps it become more like a reflex rather than a conscious thought. Google autocomplete searches for you and corrects your spelling without you needing to think about it. Apple's camera shortcut was revolutionary as well. They made the camera accessible without unlocking the phone. Just
note, this is a Google Pixel, but it's the same action.
Double tap the side button and take your picture.
How is that bad? Reducing steps is only one way to make a product more addictive. You can also just make it more enjoyable to use, but that's a topic for another video. God damn this enjoyment.
It only takes away one extra step, but it completely changes behavior. We all take more photos because of it. If you make design effortless enough, even your loneliness, your boredom, your awkward silence becomes a trigger. Then designers make their product the easy escape. Think about how many times you check your phone throughout the day reflexively when you feel even the tiniest bit of discomfort or boredom. Companies have...
I am standing in a room full of people. Everyone else is talking with each other and their friends. I'm not a friend with anybody. I pull my phone out to look like I'm doing something because I feel awkward and I want to look like I'm not a loser. That is not necessarily because the phone has trained me to scroll. It's because I have my own insecurities going on. I would be putting my hands in my pockets or pretending to make a phone call if I didn't have a smartphone, or I would be doing something else to try to look busy in a situation.
Learn that they don't need to design a better product that improves your life. They just need to remove friction and make the product accessible. If you can...
But wouldn't that be a better product?
Do that, people will use your product even when they don't really want to.
He is mentioning getting into social media and making it a part of your habit. Yeah, but I don't know. Saying that convenience is destroying our culture, design theory, and working off of how like this was the photocopier, but then someone put like a shell around it, and now we're destroying culture because it looks nicer and it's easier to use it instead or whatever. I was thinking this would be like a product design channel because it's called Design Theory, and you know,
it just becomes an impulse that you don't even notice. The more subtle the trigger is, the better. In the past, traditional marketers and designers might say, let's make people want our...
Yeah, about designers and marketers, yeah.
Cigarettes. But today, companies are basically saying, let's give them infinite cigarettes on demand, right in their pocket, with free delivery, and an algorithm constantly tempting you to have just one more. One of the biggest risks for getting addicted to any drug is easy access to it. The best designers know this also applies...
Okay, technically true, I suppose.
to products. Many of them prey on our base instincts found in our limbic system, which is one of the most primitive parts of our brain that handles emotion and reward. It's fast, automatic, and it's what drives you to avoid pain, seek comfort, and chase dopamine, even when your logical brain knows better. This keeps us trapped in a more reactive mental state. David Courtwright calls this new system of business and design limbic capitalism. It's gotten to a point where this mindless consumption is as destructive as any drug. In the book Dopamine Nation, the author's patient got hooked on the cycle of searching for and buying products online. He purchased enough cheap Amazon garbage to fill up several rooms in his house and was...
This is a hoarder. This is a hoarder. I've literally seen this with like QVC buyers or whatever it is. Not besmirching the company because I was laid off by them and I have insider knowledge. This is just a true fact of my lived experience seeing multiple humans that I have walked into their houses of because I have signed my severance paperwork and I'm not allowed to besmirch them by saying knowingly false statements. And they are also rare cases. Yeah. Like specifically having one patient that has retail therapy to the extreme and using that to solve a different crisis in their life or attempt to solve a different crisis in their life does not mean that retail stores should not exist or whatever. I mean,
tens of thousands of dollars in debt, but he couldn't stop. Consumption has become a new form of addiction, and our modern products and services are the delivery method.
That's actually kind of a banger right there. Something to buy. Now I will be happy. Okay, the obvious plant account. That's kind of a banger. That's kind of a. This is kind of slaps. You know, what's inside? Some hat, a soap. You must have to buy to find it. Don't worry, it's not bugs. Oh, it's sick.
Has become a new form of addiction, and our modern products and services are the delivery method. We're all running from pain. Some of us take pills, some of us couch surf while binge watching Netflix. We'll do almost anything to distract ourselves from ourselves.
Good point. We're all running from pain. Let's focus on the pain, right? This channel is like, I want my phone to need to be unlocked. And then I need to like put in a password to get into my camera app before I'm allowed to use my camera. That'll fix my addiction to social media. And I'm like, I want to just fix the pain and give you a social safety net. And I want to give you, a place to live, and I want you to have health care and I want you to have your essentials covered. That's what I want. So that way you're not running from pain anymore. So that way you're not finding retail therapy to fill the hole in a void in your life. And you're not, trying to find an escape of happiness between 15 gig economy jobs that you're doing on the side. Like I would rather fix the pain there than talk about this.
Nothing satisfies us, and we're slowly devouring ourselves in this endless cycle of running away from discomfort. And here's the scary part: the longer we stay stuck in that loop, the shorter our view of the future becomes. According to one study researching the effects of drugs on long-term planning, people who are not addicted to drugs would plan nearly 5 years into the future. But people...
Culture significant than a typical medieval cathedral. Do you mean like it points at what our culture is to the average person comparatively to how a medieval cathedral would be such a beacon of wealth and power that the average person has no way to really be similar to it? Or do you mean like we look back on the past of a medieval cathedral and say, who cares? And a hoarder's house today means more to us, or it reflects our culture specifically. Trying to understand the direction or what you're trying to say. I am bad at both reading and media literacy, so I do my best. Because I definitely think that looking back at a medieval cathedral would go, wow, cool, old building. Doesn't really say a lot about our modern society, which is true. And the prevalence of a few hoarders' houses definitely would be more of a sign of our current society than the old cathedral. So that's definitely true, but any old thing would be less likely to be our current society or culture based off of it's old and different compared to what we have currently, what you can see happening among the individuals of our culture now. Yeah.
Addicted to opioids could only plan about 9 days ahead. Addiction shrinks your world. It moves you from a strategic mindset to a survival mindset. You stop thinking rationally and start...
That was was that movie Her? Yeah, what the hell?
From a strategic mindset.
Religious nerds stack some stones inset with colorful glass in 100 of locations across Europe versus someone archived thousands of consumer products manufactured around the world into a central repository. Are you saying that they're both equally unimportant? Or maybe the religious nerds, because they did it in hundreds of locations across Europe, is more significant than some random guy. That's arguable. Yeah, I just don't understand the not necessarily the point, but just like what is trying to be passed along. Is it that we should care more about the medieval cathedrals? Because I mean, I'm a bit of an outsider when it comes to like caring about historical stuff. Because like it's neat, but I don't give a shit about any of that stuff. There's probably a lot to learn from them and whatever. But like even like when like, oh, do you want to get your like 23andMe and like look at your genealogical past or whatever? I'm like, not really. It doesn't mean anything to me. You can tell me I'm Irish. You can tell me I'm fucking Russian. You can tell me I'm whatever. It doesn't matter. It doesn't change anything about the way I feel about myself or whatever. If you're like, oh look, you're gonna have like a high propensity for, I don't know, a brain tumor, then like I would want to like know some of that angle of it, but most ultimately don't really care. Oh, I'm a deep descendant of, you know, the guy that invented the doorknob. Oh, sick. You know, like whatever. Like it's the novelty. It means nothing to me. But I've also been a person who grew up in Florida with white culture, aka no culture. So I can respect people that do care about it or find things in it. But that's always just been where I've just been like, you know, when people would point at me and say, hey, where are you from? I'm like, Tampa Bay. They go, no, where are you from? I'm like, Florida, America. They go, no, where are you from? Like, I don't know. Like, what do you mean? Like, it's like one like minor social interaction that just lives in my head all the time because a lot of people would have like an answer to that, and I had nothing to say other than just, what do you mean? Here I am.
To a survival mindset. You stop thinking rationally and start thinking impulsively. And modern design is optimizing for this outcome. All of the products and services around you are specifically designed to keep you from feeling true boredom. But boredom is actually a very important emotion. Boredom leads to reflection. The thing is, companies don't want you to reflect.
To that, I can see something in there. Like being able to think in your own head during a shower, right? When you're laying in bed at night and closing your eyes, you reflect on things and have a bit of a meditative session. Whether you consciously sit down and try to meditate or whether you find those shower thoughts, right? There's a reason why shower thoughts are always an interesting retrospective, because it's a moment that you generally are isolated and able to sit with yourself for 15, 20 minutes. And that's a valuable part of our lives. And I guess I've actually destroyed that because I've been taking my, what is basically waterproof or shower waterproof phones into the bathroom to just, you know, keep watching whatever video I'm watching or whatever. I remember people were like, oh, you shouldn't take your, you know, I'm like, hey, these phones are like IP86 certified, whatever. Like they'll be fine if they get splashed a little water in the shower and I'm watching a stream or I'm watching a YouTube video. I'll just do it in there. I got to do all my bullshit. I got to take a shower. Why, you know, waste the time watching the video in my chair when I needed to just go take a shower, you know? But I guess I'm stealing that time away from myself. And I should think about making sure I maintain that ability to think about things and come up with ideas and reflect and build stuff. That's a valid point in all of this, what I find to be dumb. The stereotypical culture connoisseur thinks that we're lacking modern Notre Dames. I see what you're saying. But even a home is a marvel in international complexity. True. Yeah. There was a quote in Half-Life Alyx, which is like a video game. It's like the game that's like the VR Half-Life game between Half-Life 1 and Half-Life 2, but it was obviously very modernly released. But that's the timeline it's supposed to take place in. And that's a world where everything's all exploded and bad. And there's this character named Alyx who has grown up in this since destroyed world. And the old scientist is reflecting and reminiscing with them over, you know, the comms, whatever. And they're talking about how there used to be this thing called the club sandwich. And it's, maybe I can just find it real fast. Half-Life Alyx club sandwich. Bandicam. Oh my god.
All right, Russ. Really need you to talk again.
It's VR, so it's gonna be a motion stick or whatever. But just listen.
Be specific. Before. What was life like before the Combine?
Ah, excellent. Alex, have you ever heard of a club sandwich?
Nope. Not once.
Right. To make a club sandwich, you need to start with bread. Not from a bread line, from a bakery across the street. Baked that day, okay? You add tomatoes, lettuce, not vegetable paste, fresh. Then you add bacon. That's from an animal we used to call the pig. You toast the bread, and you put all that inside it.
You guys had all that? That's insane.
It is, and I'm not done. Then you add a second sandwich on top of the first one. You put ham in it, also from a pig, and turkey from an animal we used to call the turkey, and more tomato or lettuce and a bunch of other things I'm forgetting. It was 6 inches tall and weighed a pound and had a dozen ingredients from 5 different continents. It was the most impossible food item you could imagine in any age before ours.
And like I always thought it was an interesting thing because I never really thought about all the different continents and all the different things where all this shit comes from. And something as mundane as a club sandwich would seem completely inconceivable to a peasant, right? Or from the different ages, or even like a cave person, or any of these different things. So like the modern marvel of what seems mundane to us would be more marvelous than the Sistine Chapel. And it also requires global coordination of the different billions of human beings that exist and trade networks that span the globe and both slow and lumbersome, like gigantic ships covered in containers to the point that they're like breaking physics and and surprisingly not sinking despite the number of tons that they're shepherding. And then also fast-paced airplane, life-saving kidneys being shipped insanely fast and hyper frozen containers and whatever. All those things that kind of wash away and become just background noise, despite them being complete marvels of our species. So there is beauty to be found within the hoarder's home and all the goods that have been, just deposited in everyday mundane stuff. Wait, what's this leftist and DSA stuff? I've only been banned once today. Got to stir more trouble. Why do you want to get banned so much? Leftist and DSA. Did I put DSA as a tag on my channel? I haven't looked at my tags in so long. I'm a member of my local DSA, right? It's a thing that I was pushed to join by other creators, YouTubers, Twitch streamers, and it's been a big help for me. It's one of the things that you can, because like one of the problems with everything falling apart and being shitty. Ban is evidence of victory if you're not just spamming or something. What? That's silly. That's silly. You don't believe that. Because you would get banned in here if you said a slur, unless you consider that to be spamming or something. That would be a victory. I laugh very hard when I get banned. Is that just because of like the built-in contrarian deep inside of you that tells you to stir the pot, the devil's advocate that is not actually interested in being good faith and just trying to upset those around you? Because that's kind of sad, right? I used to consider myself to be a devil's advocate in the aim of finding deeper and better conversation, but ultimately I was just being contrarian just to seem different and important. I still have that urge that comes up no matter what. When someone says something, I go, well, actually, and I try my best to do that, Well, now I try my best to not to do that, or to at least do it in a way that's not so annoying. More that I'm entirely good faith, and if I'm saying the truth is unmanageable, it's victory. Okay. Well, I guess it just depends on the topic. If you make a caveat would be a joke that's misunderstood. So yeah, being sarcastic in something and then people take it as serious and then you get banned. That's just more of a signifier that there was a misunderstanding, which yeah, definitely would not be considered a victory. But like, so if you go into a conservatives chat and you say human beings deserve health care and housing is a human right, and they go, ew, you're gross, ban. You go victory because they have no way to stop your argument, I guess, is where that victory comes from. But then going to a leftist chat and then saying, what would you have to say to get banned? You'd be like, actually, I think that they should ban and they should deport immigrants no matter how documented or undocumented they are. What? That's a horrible point of view. I really mean it. I believe it. Okay, you're banned. Victory because I was saying xenophobic stuff and I was admitting that I have no intention of ever changing my thoughts on it. Like, that would be a victory. That doesn't seem like a victory. It just seems like, I guess it all depends upon you, because it sounds like you want to get banned here, but you also you still want to say true things. So you're just trying to find something that I disagree with so vehemently that you would want to. Getting banned for saying the R word is pretty absurd. Right, but like, you seem like an empathetic person, so you can understand how there's a reason why that word is getting used less and less. And there's a slight resurgence happening in the past couple of years for sure. At least in the stuff that I've come across. It seems to be making a comeback. It's probably, in many circles, it's never gone away, right? I worked with people who just said it openly, and I'm just like, God damn. Because I was used to what you might consider an echo chamber of people who were trying to be being polite and just not using it. When you know the rule is don't use words like that, and you decide to use them anyway, how is that a victory, you know? It's like, please don't poop on the floor in here. And you go, oh, yeah. And it's like, okay, you just shot all over the floor. You knew that was not what you're supposed to do. You understand why it's not good to do. You don't think there are many people who are sincerely hurt by it. You don't think that there are many. But there are some who are severely hurt by it. But, you know, they're not enough to care about. You're happy to knowingly hurt them when there are plenty of alternatives that can be used. Language police is always like, you can always go deeper, right? You don't use the R slur, but you say the word crazy, right? But there's a much smaller percent that would be hurt by that, but there are some, right? But there's a pretty sizable consensus that R slur is like a thing that they try to avoid openly. You go to a DSA meeting and just openly use the R slur. People are like, that's kind of gross, man. I used to defend using gay as a pejorative and say, man, this mouse is gay because the battery died or something. And I was like, I didn't mean that. I won't say zero, but I haven't met one. At that point, I didn't know anybody that would be offended by me using the term gay. Groups are also virtue signal. Is virtue? I mean, the idea of virtue signal, as in like they are showing a virtue to signal that they are the good people. They show a virtue to, like, they show a virtue, which is not even necessarily a bad thing. Like, if somebody told me that they don't use the word crazy because that creates a negative connotation towards mental health, I might roll my eyes a little bit, but they're doing it out of a place of empathy and being polite. They're signaling not actually being virtuous. Do you think those people aren't trying to be polite towards those who would be upset by the R word? I'm a good person. Meanwhile, ignore Gaza. Well, thankfully, people in the DSA don't ignore Gaza. So your example is not clearly defining, because the most empathetic people I know in the DSA who would, like me, be upset by the use of the R word used flippantly and without care for those do care about Gaza. So like your example here is trying to imply that we have a blind spot about something, and then we're using our other forms of empathy to like knowingly put a smokescreen over this evil that we're condoning, because it's not really the case. They're just trying to be nice. Like, do you find using dead names to be a good thing because using the person's chosen name or whatever it's considered virtue signaling because actually some other random thing that they believe, like, or they're trying to be nice to the person they're talking to? They are, you know, following the societal and social norms that make sense to not be a complete asshole. I definitely don't see people who are avoiding the R word as virtue signaling. That's just kind of it's a basic common courtesy. It's like me not using gay as a pejorative is no longer me just virtue signaling. It's me understanding that that is something bad. That even if I did not mean it that way, I can't control how people can interpret it. And if I know that people will interpret it that way and just use it flippantly, then I'm stupid because I'm just doing damage to those when I don't want to. And I'm knowing that I'm doing it. There could be a person like Nancy Pelosi who says, I don't use the R word because it's bad. Meanwhile, they ignore Gaza. But they're not using that. I mean, Nancy Pelosi is a bad example, probably just because the kente cloth kneeling, whatever it is. You could argue that's a layer of virtue signaling. I mean, because they're evil for fucking hundreds of reasons. No amount of smoke screen is going to hide that. Literally nobody likes them. That's why Democrats are like the corporate fucking, you know, in power Democrats have a 19% approval rating across America, right? There's a reason why that smoke screen is not working. So when we don't believe you, we don't believe you. But people from the DSA and leftists in general, the whole point of leftism is empathy. It's not about fuck you, I got mine. It's not, you know, individual superiority. It's about working together with everybody. You're not familiar with the DSA culture and not referring to it specifically. Well, you were trying to call it up as if to get banned. So I've assumed that you were somewhat familiar with it. Group associations are just typical avenue to implasticity, for a lack of a better word. Group associations are just a typical avenue to not being able to change. I consider myself to be a part of the DSA. That does not mean that I will forever be branded a DSA supporter, and no matter how the DSA evolves or lack of evolves over time, I'm with the DSA currently because it makes sense for me to be with them currently. If they become too woke for me or become too conservative for me, I just go, oh, fuck that. You know, I'm out, whatever. It's that easy. They're the group of people that they are the banner that collects a group of people. And those people all have, when I first started the stream, I was talking about how we were talking about the big national convention of the DSA people and how delegates from all the different little chapters all over are going into a thing they do every other year to vote on how the overall national platform of what the whole movement stands for and the language they'll use and all the different things. And they're going to it, and there's like a bunch of different sub caucuses underneath the big tent. And some people believe some things that I completely disagree with. And some people believe, like, I'm more of a pro-China, pro-growth. Some people are full on degrowth, eco, you know, terrorism level, like, you know, Thanos kind of shit, right? But we both agree that, you know, what ICE is doing and what's happening in Gaza, like there are things that people don't have a complete agreement on the exact course of action, but we're all brought in based off of our understanding. Like the same way Republicans have the Tea Party Republicans, you got the Libertarians hanging out with the Republicans, and then you've got, you know, basically Democrats hanging out with the Republicans. You got all the different layers, right? Everything's going to be the label. The people that use the label as like a team sport are not generally the people in the leftist movement, just because we don't have a team. Like we're against team sports specifically because we're trying to, at least at this stage, create action. Maybe in a far-flung future where leftism is such a big thing, there'll be people who are just team whatever, and the problems will start all over again. Enter the country illegally. Well, you're ignoring that ICE is specifically not doing that, and I'm sure you're aware. And talking about people who entered the country, and it's used so many times. So they go like, oh, asylum seekers enter the country illegally. They specifically, asylum is following the law, and they are the law that's set up by Donald Trump and other presidents, but Donald Trump specifically. Like, so like, oh, look, people from Venezuela can come and they seek asylum because we shit all over Venezuela and covered in sanctions, and we want to make it the enemy state of us. So we will accept their people as fleeing that country that we have destabilized and made bad. And they are allowed to seek asylum here. They come here and then they say they're bad, even though they're following the fucking law, right? You're familiar with the Mahmoud Khalil case. That was complete bullshit, of course. So that's what people are mad about ICE for. Because ICE is doing that on a mass scale. That bullshit thing is done on a mass scale. Even like corporate Democrats say, look, ICE, we understand you want to deport criminals. That's fine. We were kind of like shrugging our shoulders at that. But when you start doing these things that make no sense, we get mad. Even the Nancy Pelosi's, the people who were fighting for a strong border or whatever it is. He was in the U.S. legally, as were many and most of the individuals. They say that they were going after the criminals first, which also doesn't even make sense because, like, look, we're going to go after the murderers and deport them. Why would you deport a murderer and not just arrest and jail a murderer? I don't understand. Why would you grab somebody and say, wow, this person did a rape, murder, killing, and then just push, say, get out of the country, go somewhere else. We know, and we have you, and we know that you are a devil or whatever, but now we'll just, set you loose on somebody else instead. It's like having, oh my God, I have a horrible poisonous rattlesnake in my backyard. I'm going to just yeet it over the fence to my neighbor's yard instead. Like I have it in a cage. I caged it, and now I'm going to dump it in my neighbor's yard. Whew, that was close. Like, no, take that thing and give it to the proper, what the fuck are you doing? You're going off on a tangent on someone else. You're pointing at a different chatter who's like, hey, fuck borders in the first place, which is a sentiment that people like if you think back on early United States, there was not even as of not that long ago, like my parents' age, like they could go back and forth from Mexico and from Canada. There wasn't even like a border check. You didn't need passports. It was just like people would go across the lake and buy beer and come back. It wasn't a thing. Borders becoming this gigantic issue is a thing that they just like to do to separate us specifically. And also what leads people to flock to the border unsustainably is because we destabilize the areas around them. Because do you want to all of a sudden get up and migrate to a different place? You probably don't. Hell, I got laid off and they were like, do you want to come to Pennsylvania? I'm like, not really. That's kind of like a whole thing to do right now. That's kind of like you're just dropping this shit on me, and I got like shit here set up and I can't just leave it all behind. So no thanks. And they go, okay, well, I guess you're fired then. And it's like, dang, shit. So people only do that when they fucking have to. And it's a shame that we are the ones making it so they fucking have to. But you wouldn't point out a different thing than what we were talking about specifically earlier, which was how ICE is doing the bad thing, the thing that you agree is bad, and they're doing it on a mass scale. But you say, hey, what's wrong with you guys pointing at ICE and saying they're doing what they're supposed to be doing? I agree that this is bad, but you're mad about the other reason. But you, like me, are mad for the reason that the things that they're doing. And they're doing that a lot. They're doing a lot. Mahmoud Khalil is well known and in the media specifically, but obviously it's happening to a literal majority of the people that they're taking away, over half, if not 77%. So it's fucked up. They go to a fucking, what is it? They go to a Home Depot and just pick people up. There's no due process in the process whatsoever. There are ICE thugs. Oh, there's a couple of bad apples. This is the bad apple excuse for people beyond the scope, which isn't exactly surprising. I don't mind the criticism. Okay, so then why are you mad at people who are criticizing it? People who hate and vilify ICE just for enforcing the law. I'm not sure they have thought through their position. No. They are not just enforcing the law. They are doing illegal law. And also, they're signing up for it. It's not like they got fucking drafted to be a fucking ICE agent. They're just following orders. Tom Homan says, go pick up people at Home Depot. Go grab them. You're like, well, they got their orders. They got to go do what they're doing. They have to not identify themselves. They have to wear a mask. And they have to grab people off the street. No due process. Are they illegal immigrants? First off, there's a whole different discussion about what is an illegal immigrant. But also, no, they're not. They're just people outside of a Home Depot looking to get some work. They're literally trying to work, right? And then, no due process. They process them as if they are. There is no process. They take them and they bring them to an ICE camp. There's no lawyers. They're not allowed to talk to a lawyer. There's no crime they're being charged with. Who isn't an illegal immigrant who has been picked up outside of a Home Depot by ICE? Let me think. Just literally an instantaneous Google search. U.S.-born man held in ICE, Florida's new anti-immigration law. Leon Judge says she was obliged to ignore his documented proof. April this year. There's also the whole thing that they were doing, the huge surge. I was literally editing a video with Cinemarxism about it.
Right now, the biggest issue is that like nobody knows this is going on.
Immigration attorneys are calling it unprecedented.
Some migrants are showing up to their schedule.
U.S. born, dog. What the fuck do you mean? U.S. born. What the fuck are you talking about? Not an American citizen. U.S. born. National born citizenship. U.S. born. Born in America. You are a citizen. What the fuck are you talking about? Now you're not following the law. Who's not following the law now? What the fuck are you talking about?
Court hearings, only to be arrested by waiting ICE agents.
White House official Stephen Miller said he expects ICE to up its numbers to upwards of 3,000 arrests a day.
Unless you have media covering this and telling the story, this will just continue to happen, and we will end up with 21 million people being deported. We've been covering over the last week and a half of a new ICE tactic where ICE is, instead of getting warrants, arresting migrants at their workplaces or at their homes. Like, people have learned their rights, and that's become harder for ICE.
They call it Know Your Rights. I call it How to Escape Arrest.
So there. Oh yeah, Know Your Rights. I call it How to Escape Your Arrest. I know it's called Know Your Rights. I call it How to Escape Arrest. What, you have rights? Nah, that's just you escaping this arrest that I set up for you.
New tactic
Thanks,
is
CNN,
to call migrants in for a immigration court hearing, and then the prosecution asks the judge.
Titles don't mean much regardless. Do you think that they are specifically lying when they say U.S. born? What do you mean the title? I don't understand what you're trying to say.
Judge to drop the case. So the government is asking the judge to drop the case. Judges typically will.
And this is right here is specifically people following the law, right? People who are going through the proper channels, not illegal. They are going through the proper channels, and then they are throwing out their cases. So now there's no case to keep them. There's no pending case for them. their application is now empty. So then the moment they walk out of the room, they go, oh, now you're illegal. Now we got you.
Will drop the case because that is typically a good thing if you're in a criminal proceeding and the prosecution has to drop the case, usually that's a good thing. But in this case, it's not a good thing because the migrants leave with their cases dropped, and now that their cases are dropped, ICE can arrest them.
Don't talk to him. Don't talk to him. Talk to me. You came in here to talk to me and you wanted to start up all this bullshit. And you say people who are born in the United States are not citizens. So now you're not following the law. Don't talk to him. Talk to me. He's not me.
Them and expedite their removal proceedings. That's the new strategy, and they've been using that strategy nationwide. Not really anybody's talking about it except for immigrants' rights orgs on the ground. It's really, really important to focus on because like I said, it's happening nationwide. It's happening everywhere. San Antonio,
You specifically wanted to talk to me about stuff. You came into my chat to talk about stuff. You're the one avoiding the conversation. You've banned me from your conversation. Therefore, I am victorious. What the fuck are you talking about? You wanted to talk to me. You're changing the subject, trying to talk to some other chatter about something. Why are you avoiding the topic? Saying that they're not a U.S. citizen despite them being U.S. born. You're the one not following the law. You are trying to ignore the facts so that way you feel right about something. You're full good faith. You're not good faith. You know you're not good faith. Why do you do this? Like, why do you do you actually believe these things, or are you just trying to set up a situation where you misrepresent things to get whatever side mad? Do you go into conservative chats and say, actually, I think ICE are doing things unjustifiably and they should be stopped? And then you come into my chat and say, actually, I think what ICE is doing is justifiable and they should be allowed to continue. Is that what you do specifically? Because, like, I don't understand. You come into, like, zero chatter things because you don't like being ignored in Hassan's chat or whatever, right? Like, is that your thing? So you come into here specifically? What have I missed? I'm looking at the titles on your screen. They see arrest migrants. Huh? What? My title says convenience is destroying culture. And my title also says new week, same fog, pushing through. Huh? Now I'm confused. Titles on your screen. Afghani blank detained. What? Oh, this.
San Diego, Kansas City, Chicago, LA, New York, Boston, like everywhere.
Okay, bitch. What I was talking to you before about. This. U.S. born man. You said they're not. You said, U.S. born doesn't mean you're a citizen. I was talking about this before I even played Cinemarxism video, the one that I edited for him, about the topic of them unjustifiably grabbing people. Juan Carlos Lopez Gomez, a 20-year-old U.S. citizen, being held in Leon County Jail Thursday, charged with illegally entering Florida as an unauthorized alien. Even as supporters waived his U.S. birth certificate in court. There's your case, dog. A Florida Highway Patrol trooper arrested Lopez Gomez after a traffic stop in which he was a passenger. He wasn't even fucking driving the car. The 20-year-old is set to remain in jail for the next 48 hours. So you're mad about this one too. Waiting for federal immigration officials to pick him up despite his first-degree misdemeanor charge being dropped. I don't even know what the first-degree misdemeanor would be, but it literally dropped. So whatever they were trying to charge him with literally doesn't stick. So not even whatever he was doing, he wasn't doing. His mother burst into tears at the sight of her son, who appeared virtually for his first hearing in Leon County Courthouse. She left the courtroom distraught because she could do nothing to help her son, who was born and lives in Georgia. Yeah, and also the state has no legal responsibility to cooperate with ICE. Well, there's certain weird things about it, especially sanctuary cities don't have to, but there's some weird things about, that's actually covered in this video, I believe, about how they're not supposed to, but they can be requested to, and then all kinds of different things. But the fact that Florida, of course, bootstepping fascist place that we live in, is going to take a legal fucking citizen because he's brown. They go, oh, I think you might not belong in Florida, which is just crazy. Which is just literally crazy. That's an article. Cases have titles like Juan Lopez Gomez, a 20-year-old citizen, is being held in jail Thursday, was charged illegally entering Florida, even though he has waived his thing. Like the case would be Juan Carlos Lopez Gomez versus Florida or whatever, right? Yeah, it's not in the Supreme Court. And you're like, okay, yeah, the Florida Phoenix is making this up. They found this actor and got her to cry on camera. They made up all these different things and are completely making something up about Florida Highway Patrol officers doing things. Leon County Judge LaShawn Regnus held Lopez Gomez birth certificate up to the light. They just made that person's name up. This person doesn't exist. If they ever found out, dude, they would defame this fucking thing so hard because this is all made up. If I want your opinion on it, you got to find the case. Okay, so you're saying, hey, ICE is totally doing things bad in publicly that I know of, and I really hate them for it. But that's just the only one thing that ever exists. Oh, this other one exists? Well, I would need to open up the thing on it and do a full review. I would do a full review on it to hate it. You know that Jeb Bush publishes sensational bullshit all the time, right? This is a bombshell to me. This is a bombshell to me that completely filled names, dates, specifics, all in here. Hundreds of cases seeing all over, covered by all news outlets. They're all producing bullshit. They're all lying. They're all lying. Layers and layers and layers of it. You believe the Mahmoud Khalil, the Abrego Garcia case? Do you believe that one, or is that all bullshit and lies? You already pulled. So people who are mad at ICE are mad at them for doing these things specifically. But you're pretending that they're mad about something something that's different. You're pretending they're mad because they're doing the job the correct way. But we're mad they're doing their job that is this. This is the correct way for them to do their job, but their job is bullshit to begin with. The way that they're setting it up and doing it. They're saying, get your quotas up. They're saying, get your quotas up. So they go in there, they grab somebody who is trying to do things the legal way, and then if they can't meet their quota, they come back for the family that's there too. I'm not familiar with this case. Is that a problem? It's a problem when you say, why are people mad at ICE? And I say, this is why people are mad at ICE. And you go, well, I don't agree with it because I'm not aware of it. I'm like, well, here it is. And you go, well, I haven't studied it. I'm like, well, this is why people are mad at it. And they have every justifiable reason to be mad at it. You go, well, I'm going to still disagree because I don't understand it. And, I haven't looked up every single individual detail, but every little thing. So instead of understanding what you're saying to me and taking this information with charitability and looking into it, I'm just going to say, actually, I'm just saying that they're all pussies and they should like what ICE is doing no matter what. It's not just, there's loads and loads of these cases that are out there. It's not just some journalists. This is not like a thing that I know this thing in particular. Yeah, literally countless examples. There's also literally, if for some reason you're going to throw away these things, give one. Dog, we gave you one. We found one. What do you mean? Well, I don't know anything about that one. This other one? Well, bro, I don't know anything about that one. Okay. They haven't been held in the Supreme Court yet. So technically, the jury's still out. You know what I mean? You know, technically the jury's still out, dog. I can't talk about that one. You know what you're doing. You know what you're doing. You specifically know what you're doing. Like deep down inside, you're specifically doing this for could be clickbait, could be sincere injustice. I don't see how my error is admitting I don't know. That's where I'm getting at. So I'm just gonna. Oh, I can't even scroll past on this one. I have to use the other one. Whatever. You're saying that you think that people who are disapproving of ICE are unjustified. We're giving you.
This is their new strategy. They're making
full
arrests.
justifications.
Court proceedings.
Reported, but they are.
You're just a worthless fuck. I as a person of empathy am happy I can give you what you fucking crave. Because you just don't care about anything. If I ever see you come back here under like ban evasion or whatever, I mean, I have no clout, but IP ban or whatever the fuck that shit is, because I'm sick of people constantly finding nobody streamers and then trying to use sock accounts to come back, which is just pathetic.
Are saying that this is in many ways a.
That was a kind of a waste of time. But I guess it's about time that I kind of learned some lessons in some way. Because there were some people who would come through before and they were a bit more normal, I guess, about things. And even if they were people who fundamentally disagree with stuff, they're at least a bit more of a human, not just a complete debate bot or whatever for the sake of it. I suppose I need to. Yeah, that's the thing. Constantly denying the source validity while asking for sources and saying, well, that's not a valid source. I want a source, not that source, though. And then you're just constantly searching for sources. And then, heaven forbid, in your constant, trying to find as many sources as possible, find something that's slightly not a perfect source, then now you've discredited every source you've ever looked at. Yeah, that's a good point, though. That's troll behavior. I mean, I've been trying to, whenever I do stuff, just like grab different sources that are good for things. So that way, in these situations, I can pull shit up. So a takeaway for me, even though it's not really polite to myself, but try to always find the most sourced things to keep on hand for these moments, because not that they're going to care about it. They're going to say that's a woke magazine or whatever, right? Like, but yeah, annoying. This video also kind of sucks. The convenience is destroying things. This is kind of a slop video. Ah, here we go. This will be a good one for sure. Why YouTubers? It's a boy video. It's one I haven't seen, I don't think. YouTubers are working for cops now. This is one that I wanted to see. From Boy. And it's going to be good, because we know them. We got the old Thumbo. Crazy.
$130 billion a year, which make them the third best funded army in the world.
Well,
But one thing they didn't have up until now was YouTubers to follow them around. And today we've got a YouTuber called Mr. Manny to ride along with cops and film them harassing homeless people. It's gonna be fun.
Bad boys, what I'm gonna do? What I'm gonna do when I come for you? Bad boys, what I'm gonna do? What I'm gonna do when I come for you? I'm excited. This is gonna be sick. Do you reckon he's gonna fucking shoot somebody?
I'm in an actual high-speed chase with police officers because I'm gonna be spending the day with them to really find out what police...
Yo, they did a dangerous high-speed chase with some fucking broccoli cut-haired fucking YouTuber in the front seat.
For you. I'm excited. This is gonna be sick. Do you reckon he's gonna fucking shoot somebody?
I'm in an actual
like
high-speed chase.
He's got his fucking driving glasses on.
With police officers because I'm...
Bro, oh my God. I was talking about how like it was dubiously legal for me to be an intern at like an editing house, and then we would take a ride out to this stupid restaurant to shoot a commercial for Fantastic Sam's, and about how like if I got hurt in the car, what that would do. Like this is a good fucking way to climb out of the Gen Z, Gen Alpha, millennial pit of not having any kind of security in, because you sit in the front seat in a ride-along situation, and they get into one of the many car accidents that these cars constantly get into, and then you just get that fat check, you get a few mil in your back pocket like it's nothing, right? Because like, what the fuck?
I'm gonna be spending the day with them to really find out what police officers actually do in their day. And starting off their day, they had me put on a bulletproof vest for safety.
Did you say bulletproof?
Bring back the good old days, and by that I don't mean the Thomas Kincaid fucking paintings of America that never existed. I mean bring back the what was that show? Andy something. They whistle. Yeah, the cops that don't carry a gun, and then they make it a big point to not carry a gun because they're not there to hurt people, they're there to help people.
Yeah, well, it's a bulletproof vest stops one bullet.
Yeah, that's bad.
You do need bullets proof.
Yeah, especially if everyone in America is using automatic weapons, the bulletproof vest isn't enough.
Andy Griffith, that's what it is, yeah. This is crazy.
I mean, people get sponsorships with the military.
Yeah, but what if he came along and he died?
Then you just sign a waiver. Yeah, that's actually fair. This is much more dangerous than any of the military ones.
100%. A high-speed pursuit?
Surely it's fake. Anyway, he's got a bulletproof vest on, so it doesn't really matter.
He doesn't have a car's-proof vest on, though.
The first call of the day was a possible stolen car, so he started booking it.
Ooh. Tell me, Sheriff Taylor, why don't you carry a gun?
Oh, I don't know. When a man carries a gun all the time, the respect he thinks he's getting might really be fear. So I don't carry a gun because I don't want the people of Mayberry to fear a gun. I'd rather they would respect me.
And now we got jacked up steroid shit. That is definitely propaganda. That is definitely propaganda. But what a different form of propaganda of like, if I carry a gun, people are just afraid of me, and I want people to respect me as a man, right? That's definitely a fantasy. This is the reality, right? We got people suiting up with bulletproof vests, carry around and act like they're, they used to, like the police outfits used to be like, a blue shirt. Now it's all black with like a upside down, black and white American flag with a tack vest and like, roided out freaks who can't pass like the fucking military ASVAB test, whatever it is, and have to settle for this dog shit. And then they get paid an incredible salary. There was somebody saying that they were thinking about going into the police office as we were all getting laid off, and I'm just like, fuck. But then also they were like how much money they make, and I'm just like, what the fuck?
That was a fast car. Once they got to the scene, they checked it out, and this happened.
Okay, we have 2 murder suspects. I saw they were both climbed all the way back and knocked out. So what they'll do is make sure they're alive and okay.
Thankfully, it wasn't that. And by the way, guys,
there were people reclined and sleeping in a car. They're like, we have to shoot these guys.
Wait, what?
They were just reclining in their car, so pretty sure those people were dead.
He said they were murder suspects. Does that mean they committed a murder, or he suspected they were murdered?
To be murder victims, right? Not murder suspects.
He suspected they were murdered.
Is that how a police officer's brain works?
Yeah.
They see someone lying down. Potential murdered suspect here.
Who killed you?
Exactly. Tell me who killed you.
And
we should wake him up and ask him.
By the way, guys, I'm currently in Huntington Park, a city in Los Angeles, and I'm currently riding along with a patrol officer.
Dispatch update. Oh, real quick. 6334. Check on 17-year-old Juvie with suicide ideation.
To protect and serve. To protect and serve. This teenager has suicidal ideations. Don't worry. We'll be there in 10 minutes to facilitate. We are here. We are to serve those ideations and to give him suicide by cop. We are coming. Step on it.
Open the door real quick. Thank you. Imagine you're about to kill yourself, right? You've made a call to the hotline, being like, oh, I'm going to kill myself. And they send the police over, for one, which is terrifying. But secondly, there's also a YouTuber. There's just a YouTuber with him. Bro, you're going to...
What's up, guys? I'm with this 17-year-old.
Yo, bro, you trying to kill yourself? Yo, no cap.
This is horrific.
That's so insane.
Bro, before you go, like and subscribe, bro.
Same.
Also, is that how you check?
Excuse me. You dead yet? You need help?
Need a gun? Use a gun.
Hello, are you okay? What's going on? You want to talk to us privately? You live with your grandma? Who else do you live in?
Why are you filming her? What do you mean talk to us privately? There's a camera here.
I have 2 brothers and my cousins.
Can you feel some type of way or something going on in their life? You need to talk to somebody? I'm gonna have my female partner talk to you and you can feel a little more comfortable with it.
Sure.
I put the camera down just because of how sensitive this topic is.
You put the camera down.
Yeah, fair. We continued filming from
Yeah, and leave it on. Leave it on. Enhance audio. Go.
his feet.
He blurred her face at least.
But like she would
know.
She would see this video and she'd be like, oh yeah, this is the day I tried to kill myself. Here looked like a footage of it. Me in my fucking pajamas. This is cool. This is really
Why was this allowed? This is crazy.
the kind of stuff YouTube demonetizes for us. When you just film someone on the day of their fucking attempted suicide.
Hey guys, before I continue on the video, this topic, if you guys ever feel like you're alone, please call this number. Like, please, I just
yeah, because I
the number that they removed the Trevor Project from. So people who are gay or trans, you know, you just get the generic hotline, which I guess is, I don't know, some fucking cop coming to your door. Like, what the fuck?
Need to come and film you. Please call this number. It's not 911, it's my number. It's 988.
Alexa, there's sad music. What are you talking about? He feels bad about this. He's helping people.
Yeah, so let's continue on the video. So then afterwards, we drove back to the police station where they had a briefing. Essentially, it's a meeting where they talk about police stuff. Once the briefing was done...
Wait, a police briefing is just watching donut operator video clips?
Yeah, he's watching them kill people and they're like, fucking sick headshot there.
Get out there and do exactly the same thing.
It's like...
That I remember watching some stuff on like the training process where they try to make them seem like you are the wolf and they are the sheep, or you're the sheep dog, I guess, whatever. Like they try to make it out like everything out there is knives pointed at you. You need to be on your guard at any moment. Look at this video of a guy getting shot. That's going to be you if you don't shoot first. And it's like, actually, pizza delivery is a more dangerous job than your job, and in the same cities and shit. Like, wait, actually, no, you're not at that risk at all times. And actually, you have what is it? The qualified immunity. So like, they're like, yeah, actually, it's safer for us is to shoot first and ask questions later, and then we won't be held liable for our actions because we have the dangerous job and we're all heroes.
You know, a pre-game hype up. They're like, come into the locker room.
Yeah.
Watch our best clips.
Yeah, all your highlights.
You guys got this.
Yeah, come
on.
on.
You got this.
Police gang unit. I think it's nice that they're honest with their
affiliations.
Yeah.
Once the briefing was done,
look up police LA gangs and you will see actual police gangs.
And they sent me to ride along with the city's gang units. But first, the chief of police wanted to see me.
You're the chief of police? I am the chief of police. So I've been here 35 years, right? I'm still giving everybody a run for their money.
You look pretty young too. Yeah.
So I have this lotion that I put on every night.
Oh, your skin is so nice. Oh my god. Wait.
Have you seen that picture from the Hong Kong protest? It's like, love your job, you'll never work a day in your life. And it's just a Chinese police officer pepper spraying someone in the face with like the biggest smile.
He's pepper spraying a journalist, so I understand.
Yeah, he's so happy.
It's like pepper spraying a YouTuber. I'd be so happy.
Oh my god, it'd be amazing. I'd be like, you gotta come quick, I'm about to kill myself. Psych!
This is Officer Nick. Say hi. Hi. They're in charge of overseeing, like, making sure everything's in check within the gangs. Oh, we're going to call. We're going to call.
Oh, there's units that got dispatched to a
They got to pay their protection fee, right? They got to give us our cut.
trespass call. I guess there's some subjects in the building. They're not supposed to be in there. One's off the alley?
Nah, poor dude. He doesn't. He just got the regular ass denim. He doesn't have the matching shit. He's just got his dark blue mixing with his blacks.
I think it's back there. Oh, that's trespass. Someone's sleeping in an unused fucking lot.
Yeah.
I think it's so good police being private security for just like landowners that aren't doing anything.
No, it's fucking crazy.
I've bought an unused lot and I get free fucking people to come and beat anyone up who goes on it. I'm not using it for anything, but I don't want anyone else.
I mean, we don't know what it is. We'll see what it is.
Police department, policia.
It's an empty lot. I'm so glad someone's protecting this property here.
Also, there's like so many police officers sent out to this.
Oh, God bless. This is beautiful. I cannot believe these people have decided to set up shelter in a locked up place where other people can't get them.
Okay, can you walk out here? Can you walk out, please? Okay, come outside. Come on. What's your name?
Candace.
Don't want you to pull anything out, Herb.
Oh, no, big for me to hurt you, sir.
The owner of the place was really cool about letting her grab her stuff, but then the second homeless, while they were searching him, they found a literal knife on him.
A knife. He owns a knife. This dude covered in guns. This man owns a knife. Therefore, we had to execute him on the spot.
Literal knife.
A literal knife. The guy's covered in guns found a literal knife.
But also, it's so funny because you're
also like it's just like on his it's not like that he was like also brandishing it to defend his property, whatever, defend his homestead. No, it's just a thing that they crawled all over his body to try to locate. As they.
essentially busting into someone's house. It doesn't mean he took that knife out to use it on you. He just has a knife.
Yeah.
Like most houses do if you cook anything or you're eating
But
anything.
also you're sleeping on the streets and you're getting harassed by people all the time. I want to understand you want to fucking sleep with a knife on you.
Yeah. The other homeless, I love calling someone homeless. It's like calling someone a Chinese or something.
Yeah, the knife again. Yeah, that knife.
Hey, we just woke you up out of your fucking sleep and dragged you out into the sunlight. Sir, you're not talking to us and explaining everything. It took me fucking 2 hours for my brain to fucking wake up.
You get fucking handcuffs on you. The dude just woke up. Excuse me, so you have a knife in your house?
You're getting handcuffed. This is crazy.
You guys handle that very like humans, like not aggressive at all. It was
This is why the chief of police was like shaking hands with him. Whether it was discussed beforehand to have this slant, or they just know that this kind of, because obviously it must have been some kind of setup to have it behind it. Because you wouldn't just be able to walk in and be like, yo, I want to do a fucking ride along. Like, they would have to be like, they had to look over your channel, see your fucking point of view, or at the very least talk to your agents or whatever the fuck you got going on. Oh my God.
It's like the opposite. Yeah.
We wear different hats out on the field. Some days we're playing mom and dad because we're talking to juveniles. Other days we're talking to grown gangsters that are convicted felons, and we are talking to them a certain way. And then somebody like this, someone that's pregnant, homeless. I mean, they just need help.
It's funny that the scale of like abuse in America is like, if you handcuff a homeless man, you're like, yeah, you guys handled that really well.
Yeah, you didn't shoot him.
You didn't shoot him, and they're like, yeah, we're nice guys.
I'm a member of the community. Sometimes I put on different hats. Sometimes I'm an executioner.
So literally the hope for America that I have is heavily layered on poor Zoran's shoulders, because he has the plan to specifically build. At one point, it was a part of the police department. Now it's supposed to be its own department, or at least that's the verbiage. Some people are mad that he's changed it from being under the hood of the police department. Basically, bringing social workers to come in to be people that are dispatched to situations like this instead of the police. So the police claim that, oh man, we got to put on so many hats, and we got to be parents, or we got to be homeless people advocates, or we got to be drug advocates, or we got to be gang advocates. We got to be all these different things and deal with every thing in a different situation. And we can't, shucks, we can't solve our crimes because we have to do all these different things. And society looks at that and goes, man, what heroes they are, despite them just harassing and arresting people. So the hope is this same message is the default position that people think about them having to wear different hats, and instead they can then embrace the Zoran plan and then see the benefits of it, and that can make a tide and a change. Is that naive to some degree? But I have hope, because that's what I want, because we're not at a good place right now. We have those people addicted to drugs. We have those people, sleeping in cars because they're at that stage of the homeless. Like, they're at that stage of homelessness where they're not quite completely on the street, but they're basically, they're the different levels. Having people that can help them is the first step, instead of having somebody to harass them. Also, it would save money because it's just more effective. Because locking that person up, putting them in the jail is doing what for them? It's doing nothing for them. It's literally doing nothing for them other than making things worse. So that person's problems are getting worse. We're spending money making their problems worse. So then the next things that happen are going to be even worse. Instead of paying less money to have someone go in and actually help that person get better. And when that person gets better, not only are they going to cost us less money because of needing to be in jail less, but then also be a contributing member to society, getting a job, paying taxes, all those good things. That those people see as a good thing, specifically, beyond just the literal human life that they are.
Sometimes I just arrest. It just depends.
Somebody like this, someone that's pregnant, homeless, I mean, they just need help.
Candace, here's some water. This is where you can call 24/7. If you decide you do want some help, then you can do it, okay? You're gonna be good?
Yes.
Oh my god, they are YouTubers. They're just filming an interaction. But here's some water. She got out, but the other guy with the knife, who knows where that guy is?
He's gone.
He's dead. But also, where's she going? All her shit is in there. What, she's carrying a stack of papers? What is that, sandpaper?
She's actually an accountant.
Yeah.
It's pretty sad. We're not robots. We're human. You feel bad for them, but there's nothing you can do. As much as you want to try to help them and give them the resources that are available to them.
I just think they're really dumb.
Yeah, like I don't think these cops, at least ones we're seeing, aren't like necessarily evil. They're just incredibly stupid.
They're just really dumb, man.
It's the systems, right? It's the systems in place that do the evils, and when they're just following orders, if the systems weren't there, the orders weren't there.
Just like, sorry, the landowner of this empty lot wants us to get rid of it. And we do that. That's my job. My job is protecting someone's investment that they're not using.
After a couple more calls, this happened.
The LPR camera hit on a felony vehicle.
Let's go look for it.
Wait, so there's just a stolen car?
Yeah, it's right here. It's another one.
Experience 1035 vehicle, black Chevy Camaro, 2-door, 2018.
So we have.
There's like also just like a lot of it's just weird that like right there, I assume this video guy blurred that screen because he's not allowed to see that information. Like it's not a HIPAA violation, but it's like a HIPAA thing where it's like, you're just a regular ass fucking kid. Why the fuck are you getting to see people, you know, I assume in this situation, this person is very clearly using a stolen car or something like that. But like, why the fuck are you getting to see this person's like, you know, police report or whatever it is? Like, that's supposed to be something that you're not supposed to just have. Like, and they're like, yeah, look at this, check it out. Check this info display out on this alleged criminal. Check out this info display on this citizen right here. I'll just film it with my camera. We'll check. And then, you know, oh wow, this guy decided to blur it, but this human he still saw it. His editor saw it. What the fuck?
That's the car right here. It's flying right here.
Yeah, that's right. It's supposed to matter to people that doesn't give that out.
Wait, is this a chase?
Yeah, he's gonna go for it.
Is this a chase?
Not gonna lie, that'll be a little bit fun.
You can tell how excited he is. It's almost like feels like the way this guy responded. It feels like a game between the cops and the guy who stole it. He's like, oh, he's gonna go for it. Like, fuck yeah, I got a chance to race. Like,
but if you're a cop, obviously you become a cop because I do believe some cops out there maybe want to help people.
Yeah,
the majority.
There's always that layer where they come in to do a good thing. Not everybody just wants to get the freaking guns or whatever it is, right? But you literally saw in the morning how they pump them up and how they do things to them. And then they give them their own propaganda every day. They lead them to this shit. They give them the tools to do only harm. They feed them the wrong messages. Take them to little warrior camps. And then they all become what they are.
Already want to drive fast cars, get guns, and get to fucking
be
detain
big guys,
people.
yeah.
So it's like, of course, this is what you're looking for.
Yeah, you're like, fuck yeah, I get to speed.
It feels like Fast and Furious, except I'm on the other side.
That is so scary. I hate when people drive fast. You would like being in this car?
I think I'd like it a little bit.
Also, that's a residential neighborhood. They're just blitzing through.
I'd feel invincible. I'm like...
Which is why LA has rules about how close you're supposed to follow or not even follow people for a high-speed chase. There are places that literally don't allow cops to do a high-speed chase because you're going to just cause property damage, which they seem to care so much about, and also you're going to cause death. The guy stole a car. The punishment's not supposed to be death. And also, the random bystander that they slam into should not be getting death. And you chased them to do that manslaughter. Like, what the fuck? You're causing more damage. There's I guess I'll find the proof of the studies, but there's things that say like high-speed chases do more harm than good.
I mean, a cop car.
Is this like a sedan though? Surely it's not the same as crashing in it.
You're dying. You got a crazy guy fucking driving it.
Yeah, you're good.
Northbound 710 from Florence. How is this guy running away? Did they organize this just for the YouTuber?
I think so.
Literally last month, problems presented by police and vehicle pursuits, literally from Attorney General of New York State specifically. Police chases have shown to increase danger and result in injury or fatalities to drivers, passengers, bystanders, and police. Like, there's loads of information. This study was literally done as of last month. There's been loads of fucking things to look into this to basically remove this as a possibility.
I think so. Is there a cop in between them? I don't think it's that guy.
No, it's the cop. The cop there is chasing the other car.
Ah.
That air unit. Come on, air unit.
Oh, air unit, like as in helicopter?
Get away.
I don't think this is fake, Alexa.
No, they wouldn't set this up for a YouTube
This is
video.
incredibly dangerous, unless he's not actually
Yeah,
driving
but cops,
fast.
who's gonna get them in trouble for it?
I don't think
They're
cops
the
can
only
do-
guys who can
That's
do
crazy.
something like this.
Maybe.
He's over there.
There, you know what street
Is he gone?
Where's the air unit?
Yes! I didn't know you could get away from cops. I only see the videos where they get caught.
Yeah, they get away. In Australia, they have a rule: if you go over a certain speed for a certain amount of time, they have to call it off. But in LA, they have choppers though, so you can't really get away.
How do you get away?
They didn't get the chopper out in time.
That's why he was like, "Where's the air unit? God damn it!"
Fucking sick.
That's amazing.
Good
Wait,
on
so
ya.
Australian cops are that cucked?
They're pretty cucked.
So if I drive fast enough, I'm free.
No, the dumb thing about it is there's no point chasing the person because usually you're driving your own car with a license plate.
Yeah.
So what is the point?
Yeah, they'll get you
They'll
somewhere.
get you other
Yeah.
times. You're on a system. You're done.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Wait, was it a crash?
Yeah.
Did you crash into him?
He crashed into me.
I mean, this is exactly what high-speed chases make. You know
what?
Like great fucking road.
Well, we didn't get him. We blocked a bunch of roads, and then he crashed into me. And I sped through an intersection, and then he crashed into me.
Incidents. If you can ID the guy and you know everything, you just go find him.
Yeah, because otherwise that's why they call it the chases in Australia, because they causes either the person to drive into someone or the cops to drive into someone.
Yeah.
They went reverse. They started going reverse. He teased it into my unit.
Oh shit. Someone reversed into the cop car. That's so funny that you're speeding like at 140 kilometers an hour and someone reverses into you. It's like, I feel like
they're backing out of their fucking driveway or something. Well, he hit me. Even though the front of my car is the one that's fucking smashing into their car.
I feel like this is probably you. I don't know.
This happened while you guys were chasing the Camaro?
Yes.
That's so insane that they're acting like this is like pro looking at the cops. They're so stupid.
Oh, you just crashed into some random woman. Yeah, this happened. I was trying to catch the car and then I accidentally injured the random woman.
Someone reversed into me.
This happens sometimes.
Since police officers crash, they have to record it to show the damages of the high-speed chase. And throughout this entire process, every single police officer was extremely calm, including the CHP officers that came along.
Of course they were. They don't give a shit. They record it and they just get a tank to replace it. So it's like perfect. They've got the biggest budget out of like any fucking institution in America.
Upgrade.
Upgrade. I'll smash my car, whatever. Imagine doing that on your job. Imagine smashing a company car. Like you'd be fucked. This is the only place where you do it and it's like, sick.
It's fun. Cool.
Now,
Way back when I was buying a car, when I was like turning a teenager and shit, one of the things my family would do is go to the police impound auction where you could buy cars. These are civil asset forfeiture things, basically. It's super fucked up that they just take these cars from people in the first place. Shit that I had no fucking clue was. I just thought it was just a place where you bought weird auction cars from the police. I didn't really have the tools to think of that shit. But when you would go to those lots where they have all those things, there are so many smashed up cop cars where they drive into shit and destroy their cars. There's just piles of them. Some are small damages, some are gigantic damages. People buy them for scrap metal, I guess, or something. I'm not sure. But it was kind of like, wow, I had no idea so many cop cars get fucking destroyed.
have you thought that
Those are going right to a fucking auction. They're just gonna go right into a lot.
high-speed police chase was fast? You should check out the high speeds of website creation from today's sponsor, Odoo.
Odoo.
Odoo is an all-in-one business management software that covers all of your business needs.
For absolutely free.
We were gonna head back to the station, but then we got an emergency call.
Some kind of a disturbance at City Hall.
You see that palm tree right there?
Which one?
That one right there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's my sister.
You just get out of the hospital?
Are you hearing any voices right now? No. My nephew was on the roof right now too.
Okay. Well, have you ever been diagnosed with schizophrenia? Okay, so you have schizophrenia?
He was saying his house was like, his family was like.
He's saying that his family was up there in that palm tree.
Is that? Oh, up in the palm tree?
Yeah.
Just let him in the palm tree.
Yeah, come on.
Who's using that palm tree?
If he can get up there, he deserves to stay up there.
Yeah. But also, like, what issue to society is that? This guy thinks his family's in the palm tree.
No.
You just chill at the palm tree. Why is he in handcuffs? In what world does this guy need to be in handcuffs? There's fucking 20 of you.
I mean, if he was being violent or beating people up, but no, I think he just wanted to talk to his sister and they wouldn't let him. It's weird that the police and the fire department deal with this when it should be paramedics, nurses, or social workers.
Yeah.
Like,
I'll be honest, it was sad seeing him like that, and
It was sad. But he agrees. And he's hopefully wants that social worker thing. I sure hope this random ass YouTuber doesn't start making, anti-Tyler, Tyler O'Veiro style shit where they say that actually the cops are better at it than social workers.
that made me wonder if that affected Nick.
I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. Psychologically, emotionally, how do you handle that? That kind of brings us down a little.
No training on how to deal with these situations. They just go, I don't know. We just handcuff you. We'll put you into a fucking pain position. And, oh my God, did you try to assault me? Are you resisting? Hold on. Keep hitting. Shock him, stun him. That'll help him.
I feel so bad for the police officer in that
Yeah,
situation.
how do you handle that?
How do you handle handcuffing that man?
Yeah, handcuffing that man, having to listen to his sad story.
Oh, horrible.
It's like this emotional roller coaster.
So now we're gonna eat lunch.
Damn, bro. Shit. Fuck. Damn. Man, I feel bad for you right now. They must be bringing the vibes down in this place. Shit.
But first, Corporal Mike wanted to give me a quick tour of the police station.
Oh wow, I've always wondered what it's like. This is basically my first time inside like a police station.
He's very cute.
He's cute.
He has nothing to say.
No.
He's like, we're going to a police station. He's like, I'm in a police station. Wow. I always wondered what it was like in a police station.
Wow.
Great to meet you.
Hi.
Like if I call 911, this is where they. Oh, you pick up the phone.
Wait, what's the Yellow Lives Matter?
I was seeing that
I've
same
never
thing.
seen that. Piss Lives Matter.
What the hell is that? Yellow Lives Matter flag. Like, what is that? Thin Yellow Line is created to bring awareness to slow down, move over laws. I love that, like, how little they care about Black Lives Matter, that they think it's just like a meme. Like, police, the people who are executing black people, are like, well, we could use it for being nice to pedestrians. Yeah, you do a million different kinds of lives matter. Every kind of life matters.
So this is Miss Reyes. She's our jail supervisor. Hi.
Great to meet you.
This is usually.
That's so funny. All those different. They have their own LGBTQ flag. Like, you just put all those colors together. What do you got? You got a rainbow, dude. What the fuck? Dispatchers' lives matter. Dispatchers' lives matter. Are dispatchers? Where are the dispatchers' lives feeling like they're not being met? Where's the unjustifiable deaths of the 911 operators? They were dying in groves that we're not aware. Huh? Is it because they don't get mental health benefits because they deal with stressful situations as their entire job? Is that what we're referring to? Because that's the only thing I can possibly think of. You colored in a blue stripe on the U.S. flag. That's the Blue Lives Matter one, right?
Being nice to pedestrians. Yeah, you do a million different kinds of lives matter. Every kind of.
So it's either law enforcement. I guess that would be it. Security proposed. Mall cops are like, come on, guys. We matter too, right? Proposed. Emergency medical. This one seems valid. That would be like ambulance workers and hospital workers. Corrections. Fire service lives matter. Hell yeah, they do. Fire service. No one says fuck the fire service. Everyone says fuck the police, right? There's a difference. But like the chudification of all this shit, it's just kind of gross. Like fire service lives matter instead of Black Lives Matter is a gross way to fucking position that kind of shit. It's an all lives matter sort of retort.
Life matters.
So this is Miss Reyes. She's our jail supervisor.
Great to meet you.
This is usually when we keep people that need to be under observation, suicidal, or any severe mental health. We'll put them right here.
That's a really good place to be if you're suicidal, I think. That's exactly the kind of room that would calm me down.
Yep.
And as everyone knows, Jeffrey Epstein, he just, a room just like that just led him to commit suicide, because we know that he did not have, any client books or whatever it was and had no connections to anything. So that kind of room like that is, I can't believe they would use such a suicidal room and not like a murder room or whatever. I can't believe they would use places like that.
Bring me back to normal.
Metal.
It would be so good if when we went to North Korea, we could have done propaganda like this.
Yeah.
It would have been so good. Be like, we got a tour of a North Korean prison. And they're all like smiling and shaking hands and fucking having lunch.
This is where it all happens. This is where the magic happens, right here in this control room.
This guy watched an American movie, so we're going to go and handcuff him. How do you deal with handcuffing a guy who watched the movies? Yeah,
It's pretty tough, but like afterwards we get bim back. We get whatever we want, man.
Then we have our armored vehicle there. Our SWAT team basically rolls with this thing. This is the inside of it. This is kind of how the SWAT team rolls.
Oh. So if you need to shoot out of there or see whatever you can.
Here we
this
go.
is better.
Yeah. See, now you have a clear unobstructed view. Do you protect?
That's a cool vehicle.
How much did that vehicle cost?
$300,000-$500,000 maybe.
Oh my God.
It's good they have it. I mean, there is a lot of.
You have no idea.
It's fucking insane in America with a gun. So I think it's logical
You
that
should have
every
tanks
single
on the
person
street.
drives this. The amount of vehicles that police accidentally shoot, where they spray into it and they kill like a mum and their child.
While on a call with a suspect in the back
Is this the Acorn incident?
seat, it was this noise that he thought was the detained suspect shooting at him. Hernandez and Okaloosa County Sheriff's Sergeant Beth Roberts, who was on the scene, both shot into the patrol car.
It's funny because nobody got hurt, but oh my God. That's the training. That's the you're gonna die if you don't shoot first kind of thing. They hear an acorn hit the roof of a car and they go, oh God, I need to murder everything in front of me.
The noise
It's honestly a miracle they didn't shoot each other, seeing another silhouette with a gun.
was reported to be an acorn.
Yeah.
This will be every civilian should drive this to
Yeah,
stop
it's
cops
cool.
from killing them.
That is kind of the trend in America.
Yeah.
Every civilian's kind of slowly
Getting a
buying a
tank,
tank.
yeah.
Why do you think people, like, whenever they see a cop, they get, like, not scared maybe, but they like, cop, you know? At least in my opinion.
Yeah, you know what? Your opinion's half right. That is true. People do see a police car and they say, oh, there's a police car. He's going to give me a ticket or he's going to stop me.
That's what I meant. Yeah.
Most people think, oh, I hate those cops there.
No, you're
Or I'm scared of you.
No, but he's like, you're wrong. People don't want to get tickets. That's the main thing people worry about with police in America.
Demonstrators questioning why a simple stop for fare evasion turned into an all-out police shooting that injured 2 bystanders.
Those 2 innocent bystanders are both in the hospital tonight. A 49-year-old man was shot in the head and is in critical condition tonight.
Tonight, the Justice Department says it's assessing the deadly police shooting of Sonia Massey, the Illinois woman who called 911 about a possible prowler, only to be shot and killed by a sheriff's deputy in her own home.
If you're going to be a police officer, 2024, you really have to be have communication with the public and understand that this is a customer service job. This is a public service job. We have to be able to help people and talk to them and respect them just like we demand respect.
Imagine if
They have like the line to say, but they got. I mean, are they like that the other fucking random letter fucking chatter who just like thinks that they're not doing the opposite of what they're saying?
If you call it like other public service jobs, like let's say you order food, you call them up, you're like, I want this meal, and they come over and they kill you.
Yeah.
And you're like, sorry, accident,
Stressful job. Yeah, it's hard in America going to people's houses, doing house calls. You never know who has a gun.
Oh, no.
Those pizza delivery people just have to fucking shoot you or your dog or something.
Exactly.
It's not safe. It's not safe to deliver pizza to your door.
No.
They're saying my line about how pizza delivery drivers have more deaths on the job, more dangerous job than police do.
Bro, it's been a long day, bro.
This is a day in the life of a police officer in the city of Huntington Park. Every day we're dealing with this.
This was pretty freaking insane. Thank you for showing me the ways. You guys are genuine ass police officers. It's my own channel. I could cuss on this one.
There you go.
You guys are awesome. These guys are. Wait, where are you guys?
Right.
Oh, yeah.
That's it.
This is just like the YouTube version of like, you know, like a fucking, I don't know, like what's it called where you go to school and you have to present something, show and tell.
Show and tell.
This is like a child doing show and tell, but it's a YouTube channel. Like it's just like,
Yeah, it's pretty freaky.
this offers nothing to the world. Massive respect to this guy because he did something not many media reporters would probably do. Put the camera down and stopped recording when things got personal.
He was recording the
recording
whole time.
He put the camera down because the woman was talking about her personal life, which was a very sensitive topic. You say put the camera down in terms of like he's filming, he's like, I'll continue filming, but I'll put the camera down low. Still pointed at you.
Well, it's funny that he did the shout out for the suicide hotline because like if you were to upload this, YouTube would give your channel a strike and they'd be like, you have to have an explanation or some kind of, if you're dealing with this kind of stuff, you
make
have
it educational.
Yeah. People don't realize that the reason why some cops can be so rude and impatient is because they don't know who they're talking to or what their intentions are if that person is cornered and they have nothing to lose. I mean, you're the one who's cornering them. This person was asleep in a tent. People love it. This actually works. It's like proper propaganda.
It's all idiots.
That's the gross part, is that. But those same gross people nod along when they say we had to do all these different jobs. And again, the hope, the Zoran campaign will be able to. It's going to try to get stopped 100 times before they can actually ever create that division. They're already kind of told they're not allowed to put it inside of the police department directly because then they would get told it's defund. I hope that they do put it inside the police department because those are funds that they do have much more control over. And then instead of having to create a whole new department, you can just build it inside of one that already exists. And the budget's already gigantic, so it's just easy to just... There's plenty of resources for it, basically.
Well, that was fucking shit.
I think I like police officers a little bit more after watching this.
Why?
Well, because they make content. I find them more relatable when they stop a homeless person on the side of the street being like, here's some water, like and subscribe. It just reminds me of me.
Their job looked a lot easier than I thought it was going to be. I thought they were going to play it up because I know being a cop is fucking a shit job.
Yeah.
That guy made it look very easy.
Maybe it's
Everyone
very
was
easy.
smiling, laughing, eating donuts.
And crashing cars.
And crashing cars.
That's what I'm saying. They get the
You talk a lot about like you never know who you're going to bump into. Every
they
single
hit
interaction
innocents.
today was like completely harmless people.
Yeah.
That the police use excessive force on. I love that. I think it's
A child, a homeless pregnant woman, a schizophrenic man, and then a non-existent car chase.
Yeah.
Great day, everybody. Classic day.
Job done.
Let's go eat some donuts.
Bad boys, what you gonna do? What you gonna do when they come for you?
So if
Oh, Asanas edited the video.
you like that video, feel free to go to our Patreon. It's only $5 a month and you get the same kind of video every single month behind a paywall, completely free. But if you didn't like that video, we're gonna get in the car, we're gonna put our sirens on, we're gonna drive down to your house, we're gonna kick down your door.
We're going to get in, and we're going to tickle your feet. Yeah.
Boy always does a good job of making a good video. I miss their streams. They used to stream on Twitch for a little bit before they showed their penis. Oops. I think they were just looking for an excuse to stop doing it because they were doing it as kind of like as a trial or whatever it seemed. And I guess that leaves more space for the small babies like me. What do I have plans for today? Let's see. I don't know if I'll have enough to do the full TikTok today, but maybe I'll try and whip up all the background materials and side sources and stuff for it. I think it's a pretty decent idea. We'll see if it actually is good.
Terry Chandler, Terrence Parker,
Bit of a imperfect day. Late start.
Jocelyn Brown.
Felt a little tired.
Going back to the roots.
Mostly because take your medicine when we need to, dumbass. Let's see. Might as well raid into Jay Marianne. Well, only got 2 viewers. Maybe it's not worth rating. I don't like raiding when it's just too few. I mean, 3 or 4 is not that much different than 2, let's be real. But when it's 2, it's just a little too light, a little too small. It just feels like I'm trying to grab attention when I don't deserve it or whatever. Also, nobody seems to, not so much as like, not so much as like a nag or whatever, but nobody even like waves or says anything when we raid because they don't want to. They're not there to watch that stuff. They don't want to act like they are. But it feels weird to raid in with viewers and then nobody is like, I'm in the viewer. Yeah. So it's like fake or it's not bots, whatever, but it's just like it's stealing attention away, making them say thanks for the thing. Yeah, no problem with the stream. We'll do it. I'll make sure to do it again tomorrow. Hopefully I'll either have I try to make sure to do something productive every day, whether it's things off your to-do list or chores or whatever it is. So and that's what I try to pass along to others because it's one of those things that when you have weird depression or you have you get stuck in a rut, just get something done. Just get something done, and you'll feel better for it. So make sure to get something done off your list. Be productive. Have hope for the future. That's all you can really do in some cases. Get active. Work with your local DSAs despite whatever virtue signaling some fucking dumbass thinks that they're doing or whatever it is. And take it easy. I'll see you tomorrow if you're here. And if not, that's all good. Bye-bye.